perfect third goalie to me. You call on him when you need to. But, I don't know. How would you guys feel about Martin Jones having to start playoff games? Right?
Do I feel good about Ilya Samsonov? I know the success of last season, but I just don't feel like you're with. If it's not Woll, are you feeling comfortable?
Yeah, and Woll's recent injuries and his kind of injury history is something that I think we're probably going to have to talk about a little bit more. Because he's a young guy and he's had a lot of injuries. I don't know. I worry because it was a year ago that we were talking about Samsonov as one of the most beloved kind of characters and players in Toronto. I worry about kind of turning the page on him so quickly because, Joseph Woll still has just a handful of games under his belt, right? And Martin Jones is a year removed from having one of the worst save percentages in the NHL. So I guess I like the idea, if you're the Leafs, of giving yourself options. I know it's kind of a hot topic right now to suggest, what if you dumped Samsonov's salary, maybe you added a draft pick, and that would give you some cap flexibility. Who's lining up to take Ilya Samsonov right now, right? I think the Leafs have done really well to add Curtis Sanford, who's a goaltender coach that has an immense amount of trust from the staff and from the goalies themselves. So I think it's probably just on him and Samsonov to build his confidence back up, because it's not as if they're looking for him to get back to his game from 2016 or something. He was a very good goaltender last year, and I think it's just about rediscovering how to get back to that place, because it concerns me, or it would concern me, I guess, if you were going to the playoffs with a 33-year-old number 3 in Martin Jones and Joseph Woll, who I think is going to be the Leafs number 1 in the future, but just isn't there yet.
So we discussed before we had you on earlier in the show some holiday gifts that teams might be acquiring or look,
but just isn't there yet.
So we discussed before we had you on earlier in the show some holiday gifts that teams might be acquiring or looking to acquire under their tree or in their stocking, etc. So if the Maple Leafs needed one gift, whether it was now or at the trade deadline, we're going to shift holiday to include the trade deadline. What's the one thing that they want to have, what Brad Treliving can deliver to them to make this team better, make this team have a lengthy playoff aspirations?
Well, it's probably like a blue Chris Tanev jersey, isn't it? Right? It just kind of seems like a foregone conclusion. Brad Treliving knows what Chris Tanev is going to cost, and nobody would be surprised if Chris Tanev is playing Leafs games in February, for example. I think if you're Brad Treliving, you're probably waiting, if we're sticking with the theme here, you're probably waiting until Boxing Day to see if the price can come down a little bit, right? Because I just don't think he's comfortable with the price right now. But I think eventually, he's going to get backed into a corner. And, again, sticking with a theme, that the kids are going to get loud enough and the kids are going to keep calling and asking and begging for this present that you're going to have to get it. So I think that's one thing. I think, we always get those presents at Christmas time. It's usually your parents that give them to you, that you open it. One thing, I think, we always get those presents at Christmas time. It's usually your parents that give them to you, that you open it and you're like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't know if I needed this, but here it is. And I think that could probably come in the manner of a third line forward, right? I just don't know if Sheldon Keefe has a full amount of trust defensively. I got to stress that, defensively in his third line yet. So I wonder if Brad Treliving will go and acquire a Calle Yarnkrok type, just a player that can be trusted in all 3 zones. And that's not to discredit, Nick Robertson and Max Domi at all. I just think you need to solidify that line a little bit. And that's the kind of present that you'd open up and go, I didn't ask for this, but, maybe somewhere down the road I might end up using it. Like a kitchen appliance kind of is what I'm thinking,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were debating between the two options being, a high-level defenseman, someone who can change the mix back there, and a third-line center. And because it's a third-line center, at least what we were talking about, it was kind of a commentary on Max Domi, where he fits, Can he be a guy you rely on to eat up semi-big minutes in postseason play? And he did so pretty valiantly with the Dallas Stars last season, but there seems just to be this distrust maybe still between Keefe and Domi. So if you look at the Domi situation, you look how he's grown in that position, how his season has improved here. Do you see an avenue for him being the third line center for this team when the playoffs roll around? Or do you expect him to, even if it's on a third line, just a lesser role playing the wing, and maybe he's flanking someone a little bit more reliable defensively at the center ice position?
I think Max Domi has done really well. Has done really well in Toronto, and I like what he's brought, and I think he's got more and more comfortable with every game. I guess I just wonder what it's going to take for him to log more ice time. I don't think anybody thought he'd be playing as not necessarily as few minutes, but like the minutes that he is playing, right? You just, I don't know. I guess I would have expected him to be playing a little bit more. And so in that case, you just wonder if you can afford to kind of play him, or if he's being used to his best strength, in the kind of limited minutes that he has come playoff time. Right? Maybe we see David Kampf more. Maybe if he is moved to the wing, Sheldon Keefe will trust him defensively a little bit more. I don't know. I think if he were playing a little bit more, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. And look, I get that he's been kind of a hot button topic in the city the past few days. But again, I think he's done really well. I guess I just wonder if those minutes are going to come, and if they don't come, it might force Tree Living's hand to say, well, if you're not going to play him, what kind of player should we get that you would trust a little bit more down the middle come playoff time, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a big one and a fun one tonight, Josh. We appreciate you taking your time to let us know what's up in Buffalo. It's going to be fun, and I'm glad you got some good pizza to set your night off straight. So we'll definitely chat with you soon, and appreciate your time, and look for that DM with some pizza recommendations quite soon. Thank you.
I eagerly anticipate. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks so much. That's Josh McCloke of The Athletic. We got tonight's lines. We'll give them to you now, then we'll take a quick break.
Sure.
All right. Nyes, Matthews, Nylander, Bertuzzi, Tavares, Marner, Robertson, Domi, Yarnkrok, McMahon, Kampf, Gregor, Riley Liljegren, Brody McCabe, and Benoit Timmins. Samsonov in net.
I will say very quickly, I do love how Brad Treliving challenges Keefe with guys who are not Keefe guys, right? Like Domi, Bertuzzi. Make it work. It's not two guys, Dubas and Keefe, working together on what they think is best. See if Treliving can get something out of guys who are a little bit different, less in the comfort zone of a guy like Sheldon Keefe. Can you make Domi work?
Like a kitchen appliance, like Cloak was saying.
Yeah, can you use that kitchen appliance beautifully, like it's meant to?
Like a couple dish towels. You need them, but they're not glamorous, but they'll get the job done. All right, we'll take a quick break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-like en-suites, and a fully finished lower level. Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds, and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 minute truck, 2 minute truck. .ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. What makes a great gift? Well, I think we can all agree that a gift that's homemade is a great gift. A gift that's the same shape as a stocking, that's important. A gift they can eat, definitely. And if they like to share, a gift you can eat too. Well, that settles it. Our Great Canadian Meat salami and pepperoni sticks are the perfect gift and a perfect addition to your charcuterie board. Pick up Great Canadian Meat at our store in Whitby or online at greatcanadianmeat.com.
A blessed Advent, everybody. I'm Cardinal Timothy Dolan here in New York, inviting you to join me, along with Sirius XM's The Catholic Channel, for a very special Christmas celebration. We'll bring you masses from all over the world, like Midnight Mass from Rome, celebrated by His Holiness Pope Francis on Christmas Eve. We'll also cover masses from Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and even our beloved St. Patrick's Cathedral here in New York City. Why not celebrate Christmas with all of us here at The Catholic Channel, Sirius XM 129.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound. Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
There's a Molson with your name on it.
Welcome to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here for your pre-games and intermissions. Leafs, the Battle of the QEW, just over the border to Buffalo, which I heard is quite frigid tonight. I got some friends and family down there. They did the trek. They're ready to rumble. It's going to be a pretty 50-50, maybe even more in terms of Leaf fans in Buffalo tonight.
Yeah, the only thing that we know for sure is that there's going to be a good atmosphere. There's going to be a good buzz. When you got split fans inside one venue, it's always fun. Again, I don't know if it's 50-50. I don't know if the Leaf fans will outdraw the Sabres fans tonight, but we know there's going to be atmosphere, and we could probably expect some goals too, right?
Yes, definitely some goals, but that's contrary to our big storyline going into tonight, which is Ilya Samsonov starting. It's almost like another prove it night, another must win, must perform for Ilya Samsonov. So he's our player to watch. Presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. Samsonov has not had the most exciting performances thus far, but you believe he might tonight.
Well, I don't know if he will. I mean, it's up to everybody. It's up to the...
How about this? He's just a player to watch. It makes sense.
It's up to the Bet365 user to decide whether or not they believe in Ilya Samsonov tonight. But we've done this a lot, right? Big start for Ilya Samsonov. Sometimes that's worked well. Sometimes it's worked poorly. But if you think it's going to go well for Ilya Samsonov tonight, I guess you could target a couple different things at Bet365. Team total under 2.5 for the Buffalo Sabres. Pays plus 150. And if you think the Sabres are going to be shut out tonight by Ilya Samsonov, and maybe, I don't know, maybe there's another goaltender that makes an appearance for the Leafs. We don't know, but it will be Ilya Samsonov to start at least. Plus 1,400 for the Sabres to be shut out.
Why would there be two
tonight.
different goaltenders?
Well, things happen in a hockey game. You know, Ailish.
Oh, my goodness.
Injuries, illnesses.
Don't say those things.
Performance-based
team is going to be healthy
things.
and happy. But plus 1,400 for 0 goals is interesting. I will say this, listener. Samsonov has never lost against the Sabres in his career. 3-0-0 with a 3.24 goals against average and an 8.77 save percentage. So pucks went in nets, but he did not lose. So take that as you'd like.
Yeah, that's I guess that's important context, right? But this is just how the Sabres and Leafs do things, right? Like it just seems
it's fun,
like
it's chaos.
They are filling the net and they're playing high entertaining hockey. I think you mentioned in the pregame 42 goals in their last 5 meetings combined, 8.4 goals per game. The Sabres and Leafs like to enter track meets, whether it's in Buffalo or Toronto, and I guess that's not great for Samsonov's underlying numbers. But 3-0-0 is what matters the most when looking at that historical data.
All right, we're about 30 seconds away. We gave you your lines on the other side of the break, but Matthews has been one of the most, I guess, consistent, red-hot forces for the Maple Leafs tonight. I'm anticipating him wanting to get on the score sheet as well. There's some comparisons to his start and how Ovechkin started his career. The numbers are close, folks. They're staggeringly close. So he's been on a real hot streak.
Historical start for Auston Matthews, both in his career and in the season. He's on pace for over 70 goals. I mean, that just screams elite level and maybe a Hart Trophy season. Auston Matthews is definitely on a complete tear, so would not be surprised to see him score once again.
Well, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the first period after the break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, the fan of the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Dashing through the field on Channel 88. Catch the Sunday drive. Playoffs on the way.
This is Steve Torrey. Join Bill Leckus and me for a Christmas Eve edition of the Sunday Drive at noon Eastern. Touchdown! For live listen-ins, guests, and fantasy. This is Steve Torrey. Join Bill Leckus and me for a Christmas Eve edition of the Sunday Drive at noon Eastern. Touchdown! For live listen-ins, guests, and fantasy analysis around the NFL. Then catch a Christmas Day triple header between the Raiders, Chiefs, Giants, and Eagles, Ravens, and 49ers on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time. Patrick Waugh, when you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had New Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team. and he loves that they compete every night.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kerr. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Reno Caulfield. There's a chance. Reno Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM Radio Network.
Sabres tonight, and the caretakers of the Cable Cabanas. Brought to you by Superior Door and Gate Systems, Canada's top choice for automatic doors and security gates, security fencing, and bollards. Because security can only be measured by what will save you. It is Ilya Samsonov, who has never lost to the Sabres. 3-0-0, 5-1-5 this year, 3.51 is goals against average. And Devin Levy, who is 6-4-2 and has won his only start against the Maple Leafs, giving up 4, getting the call in goal for the Sabres as the Leafs get it down into the Buffalo zone, moving from right to left on your radio dial. Matthews swinging it back to the point. Over it comes to Morgan Rielly. Shot directed just off the mark wide. Skinner trying to chop it out for Buffalo and will get it into the center ice area. Trying to work in over the line as Alex Tuck. He gets it down into the corner, but Rielly is there. Morgan Rielly, maybe enjoying his finest season in a Leaf uniform, is able to get the puck to center ice. Pass comes back to him at the blue line, and he's just going to chip it out at center as the Leafs attempt to make a change. One of the Sabres taken down, no call. Long shot off a wing, blockered away nicely there by Samsonov. Kept in now, and a pass in front of the net taken there by Samuelson. Went wide, and the Leafs get it out at center. Bertuzzi back for Marner, who bunts it down into the corner. Power goes into the corner after it with Marner down on a knee trying to fish it free as it comes around to the near side. Trapped there by Brody. Brody will send it into the slot. Tavares tried to get a shot away. It was knocked off his stick. Marner down along the boards, and Tavares has it around back of the goal. Another large contingent of Maple Leaf fans in the KeyBank Center in Buffalo. Pass in front, deflects into the near corner. A wrist shot from Jordan Greenway in the left wing circle. Beats Samsonov. And unless this was tipped really quickly, this has an odor to it.
And you're almost speechless just trying to watch the replay. I mean, this is just like a flip shot from above the top of the left wing circle. Well, we could talk about the Buffalo goaltending. I'll tell you right now, there's a concern at the other end as this just flutters glove side past Ilya Samsonov. Wow.
Yeah, that's all you can say. Wow is right. So it is 1-0, and obviously the trials and tribulations of Ilya Samsonov have not been rectified. Down into the Buffalo zone it goes. McMahon got it back to the point. Leafs try to keep it in. Down the left wing boards comes Rielly. Played into the far corner, too far for McMahon. Pinching down there is Liljegren. Liljegren in the corner, double teamed and knocked down there by Connor Clifton. Leafs to the near side though, and Rielly has it. Back of the net. Centered in front of the goal. Attempt by Camp was blocked. It comes back to the point. Liljegren sending it in. Bouncing puck and out at center ice. The Leafs have to go back to regroup, and we'll get a change in as Morgan Riley stretches things out. Greenway gets the goal, and the Buffalo Sabres are out in front 1-0 early. Here's Matthews in. Rolled it in front of the net. It was knocked away to the blue line. Kept in by Toronto. Onto the wing for Matthews, who came around from back of the net but couldn't control it. Now it bounces to the blue line. Kept in again then by Brody, who didn't shoot it. And Matthews trying to keep it in. Has it go off a skate. Leafs come away with it. Nylander working on the boards, and then a pass back from Matthews. And it was totally unexpected. And McCabe couldn't keep it in for him. Tipped into the zone then by the Maple Leafs. Samuelson goes back after it for Buffalo. The Sabres got their doors blown off in their last outing in front of just 14,000 in the KeyBank Center. Puck down in the Toronto end. Played by Tavares, but no one on the wing, and a long shot went wide of the Toronto goal. Kept in and wing, and a long shot went wide of the Toronto goal. Kept in and backhanded in by Owen Power. Down in along the boards. The Sabres try to get it out in front, and the Leafs have it broken up and bring it back. The Leafs have had the territorial advantage, but have not had a shot on Devin Levi as yet. The Sabres have 3, and one of them went into the back of the net. Liljegren gets it ahead. Tavares up on the left wing for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi works in over the line. He got knocked off stride. Puck comes around the boards, and the Sabres trying to work it out on the right wing with Samuelson getting it to center. Bertuzzi works in over the line. He got knocked off stride. Puck comes around the boards, and the Sabres trying to work it out on the right wing with Samuelson getting it to center and then shooting it down into the zone. Out of the net is Samsonov to play it in along the boards, and now nice play by Riley and a lead pass trying to spring Tavares. Didn't work. Sabres bring it back into the Leaf zone. Off a wing shot. That was blocked before it reached the net. Wrap around attempt. Good pad save made there with the RVH move by Samsonov. Now the Sabres with it again. Another shot. That got through, and Samsonov stopped that. 5 shots on goal now for Buffalo. Kept alive along the boards by Benson. Benson drops it off. Middlestat trying to get away from Tavares. Middlestat had it knocked into the corner, but the Sabres are onto it. Benson played it back of the net. Middlestat gets after it. Liljegren ties his man up. Almost could have been a penalty there. He kind of hung on to them a little bit with the hook. But now the Leafs are able to get it out at center. But the Sabres are going to press the attack again. Right back in by Benson. Benson on the boards, knocked down by Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi couldn't block the clearing attempt by Clifton. It comes back into the slot. A shot knocked away there by Samuelson, who was looking over his left shoulder when the puck was in the right wing corner. Played back on the near side. Middlestat into the slot. Shot swallowed up this time by Ilya Samsonov, and he's going to hold on. I'm going to present something that is completely off the wall here, and I'm just going to ask you, and you can think about it during the commercial break. The Leafs do not have another Russian player on the team. Samsonov is a language, everything else. Do you think that has an issue in it? You think about that while we go to commercial break. Are you going to think about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's obviously, whatever it is, it's worse than it was last year.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
On Christmas Day, SiriusXM NBA Radio decks the halls with basketball. 5 games.
Giannis to the rim for the slam.
The biggest stars.
LeBron on a full speed end-to-end thunder dunk.
All day long.
Luka hits another 3.
The ultimate stocking stuffer for NBA fans.
Jabbed it. Joel Embiid.
The action starts at noon Eastern on NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
You have the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Radio Network.
Leafs trailing 1-0 to the Buffalo Sabres. Play back underway here in the first period. The goal is Greenway's third from Clifton and Benson. And it is shot down into the Sabres' end. Eric Johnson trying to get it out, but is trapped at the blue line. Kept in by Jake McCabe. Fired around the boards and back of the net. Chasing after it was Kemp. A centering pass. That was stopped by Levi in tight. As Kemp was able to take advantage of the Sabre defenseman blowing a tire back of the goal. On the far side, McCabe brings it back to the blue line. Just kept in there and slid into the corner for McMahon. He was too well covered. And now Johnson starts out of his own zone. Sabres get it through center and down into the Leaf end. No icing, says the linesmen, who are Johnny Hughes and Brad Kovacic. John McIsaac and Carter Sandlak are the referees as the third team on the ice. Played around the boards then by Rasmus Dahlin. Trapped there on the far side by Matthews. Matthews swinging in front, scores! Okay, bad goals at either end of the rink. Auston Matthews, 2 feet north of the goal line, just swings and sweeps it to the net, and it goes in off Levi's pad, and this game is tied, and the Big M has got 26.
Sheldon Keefe might be telling him on the bench right now, Austin, let the other boys play. Because Auston Matthews is on an absolute tear. Made a nice little move down the right wing boards towards the corner. Before he got to the goal line, he stops, spins, and fires it along the ice, 5-hole. And Matthews has now got a 6-game goal streak with 10 goals during that stretch, and has tied things up 1-1. He also had a hat trick against Devin Levi when Buffalo was in Toronto earlier in the season. Sabres won the game, but Matthews had 3 against Levi.
26th of the season for Auston Matthews.
Both benches are sitting there going, oh no.
Oh no, it's one of these. And what a streak he's on. Down into the Toronto thieves. And what a streak he's on. Down into the Toronto zone it goes. Liljegren trying to chip it along the boards. Cut off by Tuck, centered. That was interesting. Skinner redirected it with his skate. And if he didn't kick it, it was very close to doing just that. But was able to do it. Now, okay, I made this hypothetical thought. You know, usually there's two of them, that two Russian-speaking players, or at least can communicate that way to maybe, but...
And I'm not being smart in my response, but was there another Russian last year? I mean, Lyubushkin was the year before.
Yeah, probably not. No. But maybe he didn't go through as much
it's certainly not the turmoil, no.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's you feel for anybody that's struggling, because it's not deliberate. It's not like they don't care.
No.
In fact, caring too much. And we've seen it with Jack Campbell.
Yep.
As well.
Matthews unassisted gets the goal.
You can see from his previous shifts, Joe, that again he's on a mission. He's in one of his zones.
Middlestat with a shot that deflected off a stick and went wide of the Leaf goal. Marner trying to block it to get it out, but didn't get it across the line. Now the Leafs are able to chip it out at center ice. Ryan Johnson sending it in on the right wing side. Owen Power. And it's offside, and play is whistled dead.
Well, with the start we've had, we may not have to use the Zamboni between periods, because the forwards are salivating so much when they get the puck over the blue line. Both goals are... I mean, you might see goals against like this, or goals, period. Maybe every 5 or 6 games you'll see one like this. We've seen them, 2 of them in the first 7 or 8 minutes.
That's right. But, you know... you see Auston Matthews and how hot he is and where they are going in from and everything else. And everybody on the bench and on his line is saying, for God's sakes, keep shooting. Never mind passing it to me.
Yeah, and
just get it to the net.
And there was a play against the Rangers when they were down 3-2.
So he's getting closer as it's cleared by Buffalo to center ice. Up on the right side. Middlestat sends it down into the Toronto zone. Liljegren cuts around back of his goal, trying to find some skating room, and carries to center. Nice move as he hits the line. Another move off a skate, but can't get it to carry with him. And it is Clifton getting it out at center ice, and now the Sabres unable to get in over the line. Leafs with it on the left wing side. Brought on now by Yarnkrok. And Gregor gets down into the left wing corner. Tried to center. Camp gets it back to the point. Long shot coming. That's wide of the net. Riley creeps in off the left wing. Tried to center. It comes back to the point and a drive. That was blockered away by Levi's glove, and it goes down into around back of the net. Camp unable to kick the puck ahead, but it is gobbled up again by the Maple Leafs. Drop pass from McMahon and a shot taken there by Noah Gregor off the glove of Levi. Played back out at center ice. Boy, this fourth line has developed some chemistry, hasn't it? And they get the puck down in the offensive end. We've got a penalty coming here for holding. And I think it's going to the Buffalo Sabres. It may be going to Samuelson.
Away from the play, but the Leafs will go to their first power play of the night after not having a power play last game against the New York Rangers.
We'll be back with it. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 minute truck. .ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name. 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. Shopping stress? I get it. Dad wants
a motorcycle.
And Mom wants, a 4x4, please. But if you get them what they want, it won't be a surprise. So get them the next best thing. Great Canadian Meat.
Did you get my text? I want a trip to the Bahamas.
As if. Our sweet heat beef jerky is hotter than any beach in the Bahamas. And the guy she hopes to meet there. Keep it real. Get them Great Canadian Meat from our store in Whitby or greatcanadianmeat.com.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
The cross in front, they score!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
First period is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. The linesman had a pretty good hand in this penalty. We'll explain later. Leafs with the puck. Pass down low. Deflected in front. And it is swallowed up by Levi.
Well, that was Mitch Marner that tried to make the filthy little redirect. Had his back to the Buffalo goal. Had the pass come towards him. Off the stick of Morgan Riley, and Mitch Marner just tried to redirect this out off the top of the crease, but got a little too close to the goaltender.
Nylander off a face-off win. Shot deflects wide of the goal. Tavares and two other Leafs get it around back of the net. Grabbed off by Eric Johnson, and he's going to get the puck out. A face-off win. Shot deflects wide of the goal. Tavares and two other Leafs get it around back of the net. Grabbed off by Eric Johnson, and he's going to get the puck out at center. What I was mentioning, Samuelson reached around one of the Leaf players, but the linesman was right there, and it turned out to be almost like a lever effect with his stick that was up against the linesman as the shot goes wide of the Buffalo goal, and that's what produced the holding. Leafs get it again. Tavares sweeping out in front with a shot that was blocked. Then he crashes into one of the Sabre players, but they're able to grab it and get it out and down the ice. Minute 13 to go in the power play. Pass off on the left wing side. Matthews is through and across the line. Shot off the pad of Levi. Goes into the corner and back to the blue line. Trapped there by Marner to Matthews. Matthews shooting. That went off a stick and deflected high. Then Matthews loses it. And there's a foot race here as long with Quinn. Taking the puck in over the line to Tuck. Back to Quinn and it hit him on the skate. And now the Leafs are trying to get an odd man rush going the other way. Matthews up on the right wing side. Dropped it back for Tavares. Now to Nylander. Cutting off the wing. Back to Tavares. In on goal. Backhanded just past the open corner on the far side. Tavares getting it back to the blue line to Nylander. Now to Matthews. To Nylander once more. Timmins is the defenseman now. Here's Nylander curling with it. Penalty about to expire. And another penalty, though, coming up here.
So the Leafs for 22 seconds will have a 5-on-3, but most likely will have to go with their second unit. High sticking is going to be the call, but before that, Auston Matthews, who had taken the spot of Morgan Riley at the left point. Matthews jumped down to try to keep the puck in, and that led to the odd man rush by the Buffalo Sabres. Only Mitch Marner was back, and Buffalo was unable to capitalize on it.
Second time the Leafs have had a two-man advantage. They had a 40-second opportunity in the season earlier and did not score with it. But you're right, it'll be the second unit that is out there to try and take advantage of it.
You want to see Tyler Bertuzzi going right to the front of the net.
Well, he's stationed in that position out on the face-off circle as Domi will take the draw. Yarnkrok along with Liljegren and Timmins as they go with two defensemen here. And did somebody get waved out of the face-off circle? Domi did. So it'll be Bertuzzi who will try and win the draw against Greenway. Draw won by Toronto. Liljegren to the far side. Timmins down into the corner. Domi won't attack. Takes it back to Timmins. Timmins holds. Still with it. Now to Liljegren. Oh, and the shot was just off the mark wide. First penalty will expire in 6 seconds. Liljegren down into the corner once more. Got it back again. Holds back to Timmins. Timmins with a shot. That's blocked in front of the net. Cleared out and out of the penalty box. Escaped Samuelsson with a breakaway in. Stopped by goaltender Samsonov, and then into the corner it went. Big save there from Ilya Samsonov. Here's Domi working back in over the line. Leafs were guilty of not realizing where everybody was going to be in a short amount of time. Al Riley, far side. Domi closes, shoots, scores! A big save at one end, and Max Domi pays him credit for it and gets the go-ahead goal on the power play.
And so huge for the second unit to come through. That's after dodging the bullet. After the Buffalo Sabres with the shorthanded breakaway. Ilya Samsonov made his best, very timely save of the game so far. But here, Morgan Riley, I believe, Joe, threw it over to Max Domi, top of the right wing circle, took a stride towards the net and snaps it off the post and in past Levi. And for Max Domi, that is now his 7th point and 3rd goal in his last 9 games. He's starting to heat up.
Yep. Brought in over the line by David Camp. Got a shot away. Levi deflected that into the corner. Grabbed off now by Rasmus Dahlin, and the Sabres carry it out. 2-1 Toronto. Bouncing puck in on goaltender Samsonov is cleared into the corner. Cleared off the boards high to the line. Oh, onside, says the linesman. Played around the board. That would have been an interesting look by the video review guys. Played down into the Buffalo zone, and some pretty good interference work done there by Thompson.
There was no McGregor that he made no bones about this. And now a lot of it goes through the player's mind. The opposition's just had a 5-on-3. They ain't going to call this. Sometimes they do, but I know from a player's mentality, a lot of times it's, hey, we know what's going on with power plays.
Samsonov with a 3 0-0 record against Buffalo, but an .877 save percentage in those games. Now the Leafs are back in over the line with McMahon closing. Tried to get Gregor with a pass on the doorstep there, and it was deflected away.
Boy, this fourth line creates, doesn't it?
It really does. And, you know, McMahon adds to it with his speed and getting in on the forecheck. And Gregor, boy, he is quick. Now here's a pass back in front. Down and out of the goal is Samsonov. And the Sabres tie the game. Owen Power. Samsonov looked like he overplayed the first attempt and was nowhere near the power. Samsonov looked like he overplayed the first attempt and was nowhere near the net when Power deflected, backhanded it into the goal.
Although not great defensive play by the Leafs either. I mean, this ends up being a 2-on-1 down low, and the Leafs had all 5 men back when the Sabres were coming in off the rush. And it turned out only Connor Timmins was back. Benoit got caught up as the Leafs had 2 players go to the left wing boards. And Owen Power comes in late, cleans up the garbage, and this game is tied at 2. This
Where's this game being played?
2.
Where's this game being played? The Little Shop of Horrors. Matthews with a shot, and that deflected over top of the goal. I have not affectionately called this the Little Shop of Horrors because strange things tend to happen here. Never mind Halloween. Puck back at the blue line. Morgan Riley with a pass in, and that was deflected wide. Liljegren trying to get it, but it goes down in around to the side of the net. Nyes couldn't come up with it. Now Dahling in along the boards. Nyes is all over him and comes away with the puck. Centered in front. Matthews took a swipe at it but didn't make any contact. Sabres get it out, and now here's a 2-on-1 down low from Buffalo and a centering pass that Cousins couldn't redirect on the doorstep. Brought back into the Leaf zone by Owen Power, then onto the wing for Thompson. He fanned on a shot. Second shot was blocked. It comes back to the point, deflected by Marner wide of the goal. Power in the far corner has it knocked away. The Leafs get it to the line, but not out. Kept alive by Buffalo. Here's Skinner on the near wing. The Markham native back to the point, a long shot, and Samsonov is down and is able to cover up on it. Power from Benson and Middlestat is the tying goal after Domi from Riley and Liljegren gave the Leafs a 2-1 lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The Dodgers get Shohei Ohtani.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
10 years, $700 million. That's insane.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Shohei Ohtani is Babe Ruth, only better.
Expert analysis on MLB Network Radio.
I'm not sure that all of the contracts that I ever negotiated even total $700 million.
Where the players join the discussion.
Will Smith, Dodgers catcher.
He's the best player in baseball.
Live sports talk when you need it on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up
more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our... What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
here, but I am going to ask you a question. You have been on a number of benches in your day of playing professional hockey.
Didn't always start on the bench, but would end up there.
Okay, there's the volleyball, and you spiked it. But what you can feel the bench react to a goaltender who is struggling.
Yeah, and they start to play nervous in front of you.
And they...
I mean them, not me, them.
I knew I wasn't going to get any help here.
But that's the truth. Is now, all of a sudden, you start saying we can't let them shoot. We've got to get in the way. We got to gamble a little bit. We can't let them get the puck to the net. Whereas when a guy's on, you say, man, we got him back there. Keep him to the outside, and he's going to stop everything. And when a guy's struggling, you start to think keeping him to the outside isn't working. We got to make sure they don't handle it. And a lot of times, and they might have been guilty of that on the second Buffalo goal, where everybody we got to keep guys from getting to the front, and you leave yourself vulnerable and find yourself out of position because of it.
4:25 left to play in the first period. Thompson in over the line. Tag Thompson had it taken away by Bertuzzi, who was able to get it out at center ice, and Skinner for Buffalo will regroup it. Shot right back down into the Toronto end. Round on the boards for Marner. He tipped it, and it comes back in front. They score! Marner tried to make a little cute play along the boards. It was quickly turned over. The Sabres got it freed up, and Skinner has given the Sabres their second lead of the period. It's 3-2.
And this was a little snapshot short side. I mean, it's a horrid giveaway. But Alex Tuck, who picked off the Marner attempt, just threw it to the bottom of the right wing circle, about a 10-15 foot pass onto the stick of Skinner, and Skinner just flicks it short side on Ilya Samsonov. And the Sabres have scored 3 now on 12 shots in the first period.
15:51 the time of the goal from Skinner. And the Sabres, for the second time in the game, have taken the lead. It's 3-2.
Buffalo came in with the lowest first period goal totals in the NHL.
And they got 3, and now here's another opportunity on the left wing, back in front of the net. Good back checking there by Yarnkrok to take it away.
Yeah.
And they got 3, and now here's another opportunity on the left wing, back in front of the net. Good back checking there by Yarnkrok to take it away. Sabres get it in front of the net. Robertson, trying to muscle it along the boards, is able to launch it high and get it down into Buffalo territory. Connor Clifton goes back. Play it around the boards on the near side. Greenway working it up on the right side. Middlestad in across the line. Tried to slide it into the slot. That went off a body and comes to center, and the Sabres go back. Launched right back down into Toronto territory. Morgan Riley working to the side of the goal. Plays it out at center. That goes off Gregor and into Buffalo territory. Levi sending it around on the board. Sabres get it out. Gregor and into Buffalo territory. Levi sending it around on the board. Sabres get it out. Liljegren to Riley. Riley, a snap pass ahead that was deflected down into Buffalo territory. Round back of the net, centering effort looking for Gregor from McMahon. Didn't connect. Now McMahon overskates the puck, and it is brought by Opozo back to center ice for Buffalo. In on the right side, dropping it off. Played into the corner. Opozo holding the puck, still with it, goes around back of the net, centers in front, jammed at, puck still free in front of the goal, knocked away, now played right through the goal crease and into the far corner. Brody takes a hit but gets it out at center ice with 2:25 left to play in the period.
You feel the nerves of the Leafs in their own end?
No, but I can feel mine. Here along the boards, it comes into the corner.
I think they're just scrambling in their own end.
Absolutely. Played out at center ice by Riley, and Matthews across the line for Willie, who was more stationary as he had to stay on side. That play didn't work. Quinn now for Buffalo launches it high to center. Knocked down by McCabe. Sidesteps a hit. Circles in the neutral zone. Drops it back. No one there. It's going to slide all the way back to Samsonov. And around the boards, it'll come to the near side. Were there Bronx cheers there from the people in the crew or in the attendance. Played to the near side. Here's Quinn trying to get a shot away. Pad saved by Samsonov. Sent it into the far corner. Leafs Nyes trying to work it out. Taken to the boards, but is able to get it down into Buffalo territory.
The great thing is when fans start to boo their own goaltender, it usually works where he plays a lot better at it.
Now, chance. Yeah, I've never known that to be a fact. Centering pass comes back to the point. Bertuzzi holds, tried to get a shot through, but it went off the stick of Tuck. Now it's stolen by the Leafs again, and a shot right on, stopped by Levi. Tavares getting the drive to the net with 1:07 left to play in the period, and Buffalo leading by a score of 3-2. For Power, it is goal number 2 on the season, and for Skinner, it is goal number 13 on the year.
Great little stick lift by Mitch Marner that allowed the puck to get to John Tavares on that.
Tavares won the face-off cleanly and then is told you didn't do it fairly, and they're kicking you out. Oh, no, it was Yarnkrok who was... I'm sorry, my bad. Now Domi will get the opportunity to take the face-off. Is that dyslexia when you see 19 and it's 91 and not 91 because it's 19? Good. Okay.
Last minute of play in the period.
Drop pass back into the Toronto zone off a face-off win. Less than a minute to go in the period. Played down into Buffalo territory. Domi in with a hit there to take his man Samuelson to the boards. That freed the puck up momentarily, but now Buffalo has sent it high into Toronto territory. Riley chops at it and gets it back into neutral ice with 36 seconds to go in the period. Long pass at center. Shots are 14-10, and neither team can be happy with their goaltending. Played by Domi off the boards, but Nyes couldn't get it out for him. The puck into the slot. Liljegren was able to launch it out at center. Nyes trying to steal. Got in over the line and then tried to go twice to get around Clifton, but a second time it was knocked away. Now the Sabres will get it out with 6 seconds left. Leafs send it right back in. It's a delayed offside, and the final seconds will tick down with no more scoring. But an eventful first period.
Isn't it always in Buffalo? Sabres open the scoring. The Leafs look like they get their legs. And even when you look at the end of this period, Joe, we're getting a look at the offensive zone time. Buffalo 3:26 in the first period. The Leafs 5 minutes and 20 seconds. So, and to me, that was really the period. The Leafs had better control, better pressure, but unfortunately.
And anytime in the SiriusXM app, free with all trials and popular plans.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because...
Live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling.
SiriusXM 91 and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had new Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
The Leafs Radio Network.
Shot right back down into the Toronto end. Round on the boards for Marner. He tipped it and it comes back in front. They score! Marner tried to make a little cute play along the boards. It was quickly turned over. The Sabres got it freed up, and Skinner has given the Sabres their second lead of the period. It's 3-2.
Well, that was a crazy one. Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. The Maple Leafs Radio Network. Sabres up 3-2 on the Maple Leafs after, just 20 minutes. We said this was going to be a chaotic game, a bit of a barn burner. Looks like we're in for one already, but a fun one. A little sloppy, and goaltending maybe the lowest of the low for both teams.
Yeah, it's funny how exactly where Devin Levi is in terms of his season, not as familiar as Samsonov, but it's like a struggling goaltender, how that permeates an entire hockey game. Like, it just seemed like Ilya Samsonov's presence in this game resulted in complete chaos on both sides of the ice. And Samsonov was brutal. That first goal was awful. But the Maple Leafs, when you know your goaltender is struggling and there isn't a shot on goal for you guys before the first television commercial, so tough. More than 6 minutes in, you'd like to see the Maple Leafs play a little bit more aggressively and not kind of holding back because maybe there's some tentativeness associated with their goaltender. You just like them to be in their own vacuum performing, but it seems like, the struggles of Samsonov have affected everything in this game. Yeah, it's a tough thing to start. Like, you wanted Samsonov to come in and get a couple feels for the puck, get some touches in early, feel some confidence starting to build because he hadn't played in a while. Martin Jones has come out of nowhere and started to challenge him for the net. When we discussed this in our pregame show, that when Joseph Woll was injured, we thought maybe this gives Samsonov an opportunity, gives him an opportunity to have a bit more confidence, to know that he's the undisputed number one. Well, then Martin Jones, good for him, came out and kind of proved that isn't the point of confidence that you should have. So tonight really needed to be Samsonov getting in a confident spot in the first 5 minutes of the game, and it was the complete opposite. That goal from almost the blue line, just almost like a dump in that goes in the net, is a really bad representation of what we've seen a lot from Ilya Samsonov. And then now they have 3 goals, and I don't even know how many shots, less than 15, maybe 13 shots. The Sabres have scored already 3 goals to start this game. There is even the question, does Samsonov come out to start the second? I think he should. I think he needs an opportunity to continue to put some periods under his belt at this point. He hasn't played in a while, and Keefe said to begin this game, he's got to play, right? Remember, he had that little bit of a weird tone. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he does need to play, but there's a point where if this game gets out of reach, then it gets out of reach and you might need to put someone else in. Yeah, clearly confidence lacking for Samsonov, clearly confidence in Samsonov lacking from Keefe. And I think you could say the same, albeit tacitly, with the performance so far of the team. That first goal was bad and you can't blame it on anyone but Samsonov. but, pretty haphazard defense for the Maple Leafs on the other two as well. Like, it wasn't just Samsonov, but I think that's where the problem is rooted. And you were talking about a representation of what you want to put forward. I just feel like it's an accurate representation right now where Ilya Samsonov's game is. I mean, the thing with him is it's not, like back-breaking goal and then he loses it. Like, he just doesn't have it from go. And he didn't have it from go tonight. And that's a deeper seated issue than just struggling with something. It's like clearly he's not capable or mentally ready for this moment, for this start, for this game against the Sabres. And you immediately see it in the first one going in and then just a really sloppy period after that.
So that first goal on Samsonov, maybe just as bad as the first goal that Auston Matthews scored on it. I mean, I don't even think I've seen a goal like that from the corner, almost like dumping it on the net, and it goes right in. Nobody even noticed it, almost straight across the goal line into the net. So that's Matthews just finding a way. When you're hot, you're hot.
I mean, I'll give Levi a little bit more credit, just maybe because I'm less inclined to give Samsonov credit at this point. But at least there was some deception at work there. Like, that was a nice move from Matthews to get free to shake his defender.
Yeah, but he shot the puck on the ice from the corner.
And maybe, Levi didn't see it. But who was expecting that shot to come at that time? Clearly, Levi wasn't ready for that, and it wasn't the greatest goal by a goaltender's standards, but it shows the performance of Auston Matthews right now, who's now on pace with time left in this game to score 73 goals. I mean, there was a point in his Hart Trophy season where it was just like, he's going to win the Hart Trophy. And I'm not saying we've reached that yet, but if he scores 65 goals, if he's on the pace he's on now for the bulk of the season, I mean, at some point, despite it maybe not being the full Auston Matthews experience, maybe not the level he was at completely in all aspects when he won the Hart Trophy, at least so far this season. I mean, 70 goals is undeniable, and it looks like he's not going to stop scoring anytime soon.
All right, lots of hockey to be played. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with a look around the NHL and the scoreboard and a couple more thoughts before the second period. You're listening to Most Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier, because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick single-family homes come with a long list of features you've always dreamed of. gourmet kitchens, freestanding tubs, and even fully finished lower levels. Dare to compare and you'll see why it's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
2 good saves, 3 good saves, another shot, 4 good saves made.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert with you for your intermissions. For the rest of tonight's game, it is 3-2 lead for the Buffalo Sabres after 20 minutes against the Maple Leafs in Buffalo. And that we can see like the feed, and it is a pretty rowdy, pretty split crowd there in Buffalo. It's going to be a fun 40 minutes, to say the least.
Yeah, it will be. And the Leaf fans obviously had the chance to celebrate a Matthews goal, and they also had a chance to celebrate a Max Domi goal. And I do think one thing that's emerging here, I mean, Domi is front and center in the headlines. It seems like he's one of the trending topics, at least of late, when people are discussing online and I guess everywhere else. But Domi and opportunity is a thing, right? Like Matthews does not play Saturday night against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Domi plays with Mitch Marner, has an awesome game. He was great. He was fully involved. He was making plays in neutral ice, in his own end, in the opposing end. He was doing it all. And we get a little bit of Domi opportunity on a power play, and it results in a goal, and a really nice one. And one you can smile at. Domi like showing off that smile when he scores a goal.
He's got no teeth left.
I mean, I do think there is more for him to offer. And if he's going to get that opportunity, maybe he gets that chance.
All right, let's take a look around the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
It's a busy night. Already 7 games in action. The Golden Knights lead the Lightning. That's a big one. 2-0 after the first period. The Flyers up 1-0 on the Predators. The Capitals up 1-0 on the Blue Jackets. The Penguins hold a 1-0 lead over the Carolina Hurricanes. The Blues and Panthers, are scoreless after 1, and the Oilers have an early 2-goal advantage just wrapping up the first period over the New Jersey Devils. 5 games to come tonight. Stars hosting the Canucks, Wild hosting the Canadiens, Avalanche hosting the Senators, Sharks and Coyotes, Ducks and Flames.
I think you named every NHL organization.
Pretty close.
Congratulations. Sportsnet stats saying that tonight marks the 7th time that the Oilers have chased the opposing goaltender. Already.
The Oilers did?
Yeah.
That's an early hook. It's only 2-0. I just gave you the out-of-town scoreboard.
I know, but you said they had a two-goal advantage. It could have been 4-2. It could have been 6-4. Just wanted to get clear.
That's fair.
Okay. All right, Jim and Joe will have the call of the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The fantasy football playoffs are here, and you need fantasy sports radio now more than ever. After a grinding season of injuries, waiver moves, and start-sit decisions, the finish line is in sight.
Don't think of it through the lens of your own team. Think, who are the teams I'm going to be playing? Can I prevent their rosters from getting better?
But making the wrong move could mean the difference between glory or defeat.
Every week, Mike Evans is either scoring or putting up some numbers.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Don't lose because you weren't listening. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
The little shop of horrors has reared its ugly head already. 3-2 in favor of the Buffalo Sabres after a period. Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph. We've got Armin Zagarian running the operation. Andrew Adams and Mike Collins pushing all of the right buttons for us. And the Maple Leafs have an uphill climb to make here, down by a score of 3-2. Now, I'm going to ask you, first off, the KeyBank Center is what they're playing in now, but it initially was the Marine Midland Arena. It opened in September of 1996. Prior to that, it was the Old Odd, which was an old barn that was a great old barn. Then it was the HSBC Arena, then the First Niagara Center, and now it's the KeyBank Center. But it is the little shop of horrors, and we've had some memorable trips down there, you and I, and experienced it firsthand, haven't we? As it's cleared down into the Toronto zone off the face-off in the second period. Sabres unable to keep it in. Leafs get it on the backhand, but it went right past Nyes and goes down for an icing. Do you have a particular night that sticks in your head?
Yeah, and maybe because it's family related. January 1st, 2000. Remember, nobody was going to fly New Year's Eve because nobody was sure.
Coming into an end, yes.
Yes, it's gotten much better since, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I remember my kids came down and their mother, who I was married to at the time, and the Leafs are going to be taking a penalty here. Is this Morgan Riley going to go? It's going to be a hook. Is Alex Tuck getting this?
No, it's Tuck getting the penalty. Leafs are going to their third power play opportunity of the game. So 2000.
Yeah, this is a little weak, but the Leafs will take it. And the Leafs got blown out, I think, 7 or 8-1. And I remember the family that I had there actually had to leave their seats because there were some over-enthusiastic Buffalo fans throwing things and using language my kids at that point had only heard at home.
From you, which is where they should learn it.
So that's unacceptable.
No, absolutely unacceptable. So the Leafs on the power play for the third time. One of their 2 goals have come with the man advantage. Nylander gained speed through neutral ice, got in with a shot and went just wide. Carried into the corner for Eric Johnson, but then Tavares arrives on the scene. Now a host of Leafs are in there trying to pry the puck free. Tavares thought he had it knifed in around back of the net, but it's still up against the boards. Now it comes free as it comes in front of the net, and Morgan Riley was looking for a pass, and it never arrived from Marner. Marner now gets it to him. Right back to Marner. Marner holds, let a shot go deflected just wide of the net. I think Matthews got his stick on that. Tavares up against the boards. Riley does a nice job to trap it at the blue line and keep it in. Now to Marner on the right wing side. Down low to Willie, back of the net. Back to Marner. In front. A shot by Riley. Oh, and it was deflected right to Marner. And with the net half open, he couldn't settle it down. Now here's Riley. Cross ice. Willie shooting. That stop. Big rebound in front. Is shot out and down the ice by Buffalo.
My great movement. Just could not get the puck to settle down. The Leafs a couple of times. Morgan Riley and Mitch Marner with great opportunities from about 15 feet out, but couldn't get the puck to settle.
Here's Domi in across the line. He scored the power play goal in the first period. Back along the boards, and it is knifed high out at center ice, and a foot race is on here that Bertuzzi is going to have to hustle back and win, and gets it now to Connor Timmins. Timmins to center. He'll drop it back. Yarnkrok for Bertuzzi. Up on the wing. Bertuzzi gets across the line. In on goal, and the shot was deflected wide of the net. Bertuzzi can't center it. It goes along the boards. Domi had it in his skates. Bertuzzi gets it around the wall. It's going to come around to the near side. Backhanded past Liljegren, and down the ice it'll go. Penalty expires. Sabres have killed off 2 of the 3. And you just know that the even up thing will be around the corner. Now the Sabres almost get an opportunity on a giveaway in the Toronto zone, but it was poked back out at center. Buffalo in on the right wing. Sharp angle shot. Samsonov stopped that, puts the glove on top of it, and will stop play with 17-17 left to go here in period number 2, and the Leafs trailing 3-2.
Well, Buffalo Sabres, 34th game of the season. This is only the 8th time they've taken a lead into the second period. But they are perfect in the previous 7. Well, almost perfect. 6-0-1 when leading after 1. As we mentioned, I mean, they were last in the league in first period goals and pumped 3 past Samsonov in the opening 20 minutes.
Well, let me ask you this question as the Leafs get it down into the Buffalo zone. At the start of the season, everybody was raving that Ottawa and Buffalo would be much better. Who is the more disappointing at this point, do you think?
Well, I mean, I think with teams that are up and coming, it's harder to work through significant injuries. Paige Thompson for Buffalo, Thomas Chabot for Ottawa.
All right. Lead pass, Sabres.
The depth not there to be able to power through sometime.
Cross the line for Zach Benson. Couldn't keep it in. Leafs are able to break it out on the left wing. Benoit, in a bit of a rush for the defenseman, just flips it deep into Buffalo territory and allows the Leafs to change. Rasmus Dahlin skating through neutral ice. Weaves through the defense. Had it knocked away. Slid in on goaltender Samsonov. He's able to cover it up. Timmins taking the Buffalo player down, but no penalty called. Face-off coming in the circle in the Toronto zone. Now, the one game, and being the eternal optimist that I am.
We may have that call you were talking about. The near official did not have his arm up, but I think Benoit might.
Yes, apparently he did. Okay, spun him around, so Benoit is going to the penalty box.
Yeah, but this is very similar to the call that Alex Tuck got nailed on earlier in the period. A weak call, but you know what? As long as they're consistent, whether you agree with the call or not, consistency, I think, is what you're after, and that's a penalty.
3:42 is the time of the penalty. Draw one by Toronto and shot off a body, but out and down the ice. I remember the game in Buffalo when the Leafs came back. And Alex McGillney, playing for the Maple Leafs, scored his 1,000th point, and Thomas Coberley scored in overtime. And there were more Leaf fans in the building when the goal went in. The place erupted, and it looked like it was a home game.
Marty Biron was the goalie for Buffalo.
Yes, he was.
Sure, Hasek had moved on at that point.
Yep. Here are the Sabres in a thank goodness. Sabres played along the boards and into the corner. Now around back to the point, kept in by Power, and off a stick and out and down the ice. Sabres are 13 of 93. That's 29th in the NHL. 14% is their power play proficiency. Upended there, and is there a penalty? Yes, there is. Gregor is going to the penalty box, and now the Sabres are going to have a 2-man advantage for a minute 9.
And this is one of those you can't just. You've got to be in control of your stick. And Gregor kind of does the one-handed poke as Peterka starts to blow past him on his right. And he gets the stick blade right into the skates. And the good news is we're all even now in power plays, aren't we?
No. Leafs have 3, and this will be the second one for the Sabres. But now they are even on 2-man advantages. Although the Leafs had a 22-second 2-man advantage, and the Sabres have had, this will be a minute and 9 seconds. And they don't get it out on the face-off win. Kept alive by Thompson. Thompson back to Dahlin. He works down the middle, got the shot away and scores. Ilya Samsonov was halfway into the net. I mean, and the shot came from a top of the circles.
Yeah, and his reaction was, I didn't see it. As Dahlin walks in from the middle of the ice, takes the puck, walks in, kind of a double screen. The puck walks in, kind of a double screen. And I'll tell you, Joe, if this is the first goal of the game for Buffalo, you're not saying anything much about it. You're saying, you know what, there was a screen. But when you start piling up the previous games and the previous goals against and the previous period, that's when your tolerance for one is a lot less. And the Sabres still in the power play for another minute 45 here.
Here's Thompson coming through center. Dropped it off for Skinner, but it was cleared by the Maple Leafs down into Buffalo.
For another minute 45 here.
Here's Thompson coming through center. Dropped it off for Skinner, but it was cleared by the Maple Leafs down into Buffalo territory. Pretty tough spot if you're going to make a goaltending change with a power play in effect. Long shot into the left wing corner. Leafs get a hold of it and now rattle it out and down the ice. But one more, and you know that's happening for Shua. Thompson through center. Middlestat gets in on the right wing. It comes back to Thompson on the left side. Top of the circles, back to the point. Dahlin to the right wing side. Skinner holds, works down into the corner. Middlestat back to the point. Thompson a drive. Good save made there by Samsonov to come across. And now the Leafs have a 2-on-1. Nylander working towards the net with a pass on the wing. They score! Shorty for the Leafs. And it's Yarnkrok who gets it on a perfect feed from Nylander. And all of a sudden it's 4-3 instead. And this little shop of horrors is rearing its ugly head again.
What a great play by Willie Nylander. Great patience. As Levi has got to think shot. Is Dahlin the only one back? And Nylander waited, looked shot, and at the last second, and you give Yarnkrok credit as well, he gave Nylander the target. And although Dahlin went low to try to block the pass across, he wasn't able to get it as Nylander with the perfect feed to Yarnkrok. And the Leafs back to within one.
Leafs with their third shorthanded goal of the season, but the Sabres have given up 6. Sabres with it in over the line. Down into the far corner it goes. 32 seconds left in the power play. Power, left wing side. Shot coming. Down with Samsonov to make the save. There was a loose puck in between the legs of Zach Benson, and fortunately for the Leafs, he had no idea it was there. And now the Leafs are able to send it out and down the ice. Wow.
Boy, the number of high-quality scoring chances both these teams have had, and we can talk about the goaltending being subpar. But, I mean, this has become a track meet.
Puck down into the corner as the penalty expires, but a centering pass. Big save made by Samsonov there. He had to push hard from his right post to get out and take it on the glove and then pounce on it. As set up in front of the net was Zach Benson. Maybe deflected a little bit by Benoit, but still, good save made by Ilya Samsonov. 4-3. What's the over?
Well,
better phone Bet365 and find out. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why they've introduced the Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are all in one place. Check out the Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. What makes a great gift? Well, I think we can all agree that a gift that's homemade is a great gift. A gift that's the same shape as a stocking, that's important. A gift they can eat? Definitely. And if they like to share, a gift you can eat too. Well, that settles it. Our Great Canadian Meat salami and pepperoni sticks are the perfect gift and a perfect addition to your charcuterie board. Pick up Great Canadian Meat at our store in Whitby or online at greatcanadianmeat.com.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master planned community with bike trails, parks, and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. Back-to-back Matty for Matty! On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
For Calle Yarnkrok, it is goal number 8 on the season and his first shorthanded goal of the year. Nylander and Liljegren will draw the assists on the goal that has the Leafs back within one. Little shop of horrors. There's the puck back to the point. Kept in by Power. Down into the corner it goes. Bertuzzi couldn't get it out. Puck comes back. Another shot. That went off. A defenseman went wide. It came in front of the net. Benson couldn't do anything with it. Now Casey Mittelstadt works back along the board. Still with it to the blue line. Sent it back into the corner. Tavares tied up his man, but Brody couldn't get the puck. It comes in front, and it's stolen by Bertuzzi. And he's going to bank it out at center, but it's going to be too far for Marner and turn into an icing, and it'll come back into the Toronto zone.
It's funny, though. It is one of those games, even when Buffalo went up 4-2 here in the second period, you're thinking, it ain't over. And even though it was the Columbus Blue Jackets that lit the lamp with 9 goals the last time out for the Buffalo Sabres, Leafs were able to come back on Columbus, down 5.
Shot blocked by the Leafs, brought out by Bertuzzi to the line and in on the right side. Leafs are getting a change. Bertuzzi buying more time as it came around on the boards, but Matthews had it squirt right by him. Riley playing it up ahead, looking for Nyes, but intercepted, and Nyes has to come back to get a stick in the way to deflect it into the near corner. Thompson against the boards, loses it. Riley leads the rush. Up on the wing for Nyes. Back into the slot area. Nyes still with it. Looking for a man. Still Curry's. Plays it back to the point. Near side Liljegren winding and shooting. And that was just off the mark wide. Riley with the rebound. Back to Matthews. Down low with a pass in front of the net for Nylander that didn't work. Nylander trying to get it away there from Skinner. And Skinner is able to bring it to center. In on the left side for Thompson. Thompson's shot scores under the glove of Samsonov. And I have to think that this is the end of the line.
I know it's Tage Thompson, but here's 2 now from above the circles on a wrist shot, a partial screen, and Martin Jones is getting the tap. As much as you want to protect Samsonov, as much as you want to get him going, 5 goals on 19 shots. And some where it looks like he's and you feel for him more than anything, Joe. You feel for him and what he's going through. Much the same as when you saw Jack Campbell get sent down from the Edmonton Oilers. You keep looking for positives. You keep looking for ways to get the confidence back and back into a rhythm. We thought it was maybe a shutout against Nashville a couple of weeks ago that would get things turned around for Ilya Samsonov, but it hasn't happened.
And now you have to wonder what next. I mean, Dennis Hildeby is playing exceptionally well down with the Marlies. And does Samsonov need to have a stint in the American Hockey League? I don't know if it'll help.
Well, I was there for 8 years.
Hasn't been much said about Joseph Wall and how his return or when his return will be.
I will say this. I was 7 years in the American League. It did not help. But that's, my own personal experience.
Well, you know what? That's what we draw on here. We draw on personal experience like that. So it is 5-3 Buffalo. 8 goals have been scored, and we haven't played half the game. Down into the left wing corner. Martin Jones in goal for Toronto. And the Leafs are going to get it up ahead. And now Gregor skates back in his own zone. He's upended. Penalty coming to Buffalo. And they're going to touch the puck here. And a tripping call sends the Leafs to their 4th power play opportunity of the game.
It would be nice for Martin Jones to
rest. Well, get into the game a little bit by not having much to do.
This is the second. Donnie Granado doesn't like this call. I'm not sure why. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious, like the the Noah Gregor trip a little earlier.
Tuck and Skinner get assists on the Thompson goal that drives Samsonov from the net. Leafs 1 for 3 and have had 6 shots on goal, and they win the draw. Nylander off on the left wing side for Morgan Riley. Down low, a centering pass, and Matthews had it bounce over his stick and all the way down the ice. I got news for you. This one is far from being over. As the puck goes into the Toronto bench.
Do you remember a game, and I believe it was Bunny LaRock, played for the Leafs, and the final was 14-4 for the Buffalo Sabres.
That was just before my arrival. Yes, that was at the old...
late 70s?
Yes, it was.
Early 80s?
Yep. Yeah. And they used to have some sort of a chant at the old Odd that... Well, I think what they did is that centering pass comes back now, and a wrist shot deflected wide of Levi comes to the near wing. Leafs are able to keep it in momentarily, but it's cleared out into the center ice area. Marner getting it back. Nylander in on the left wing. Marner down the left wing boards into the corner. Back to the point it comes. Near side for Nylander. Back into the slot area. Matthews to Riley. To Nylander. To Matthews. He had to take it on his backhand. No chance to shoot. Gets it back to Nylander, who closes. Now lets the shot go. That's blocked. Matthews with the rebound. Back it goes to Nylander again. Now to Riley. Riley on the right wing side. Holds back to Nylander. Top of the circles. Closing. Looks for a shot and just missed that far post. And it's out and down the ice with 48 seconds left in the power play. Not sure if the second unit has come on yet. But now they get it up to Bertuzzi, so we can tell you that it has. Here's Yarnkrok given a bit of a bump as it's deflected in by Domi, but onto the stick of the Sabres, and they get it ahead for Tuck. Tuck trying to get a shot, but that was blocked. Bertuzzi counters. Max Domi with it. Dad in attendance. In across the line for Yarnkrok. Back it comes to Domi. He overskated the puck, and now here's a breakaway. Working in on goal all alone, going in on goal and scoring. Kyle Okposo. Short-handed goal. 6-3 Buffalo.
It looked like Domi and I believe it was Connor Timmins both went to play the puck at the same time, and then it was, I got it, you take it. And in that confusion, Okposo jumps on it right at the Buffalo line. Takes off down the left wing side, right-handed shot, looking shot all the way, and snipes it over the left shoulder of Martin Jones. And the Sabres have struck 6 times on 20 shots.
7th of the season for Okposo.
Each team now with a shorthanded goal in this game.
First shorthanded goal for Okposo this season. Wow. Martin Jones, welcome to the game.
Yeah.
First shot is a breakaway. Brought in and shot wide of the Buffalo zone. It comes back along the boards to the point. Shot in on goal. Glove by Levi. And he will stop play with a faceoff coming in the Buffalo end. The Sabres 6. The Maple Leafs 3.
Second period, by the way, it was not a 3 o'clock start.
No.
Well, got lots of time left.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's college football bowl season. And from Yankee Stadium to Fenway Park and from Pasadena to New Orleans, listen to every bowl game on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
I love this matchup.
We're counting down to kickoff on College Sports Radio, Channel 84, and our suite of Power 5 conference channels, 371 to 375.
Man, I think this one's fun.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
I haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Ward Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Radio Network.
The Buffalo Sabres 6, the Toronto Maple Leafs 3. And,
well, for fun.
The DNA of this team is what you have talked about it, though. They have a stretch now of playing Buffalo, Columbus, Ottawa, and Columbus again around the Christmas season. 4 games that should be bankrolled, right?
Yeah, 1-1 against Ottawa. And have not beaten Columbus or Buffalo in the 2 previous games this season.
Leafs with the puck, dropping it into the Buffalo zone. Going after it is Samuelsson. Lost it there momentarily. Nye's got it freed up. Nylander got it to Matthews. Back of the goal it goes to Nylander. Has it pinned up against the wall, trying to dig it free. Matthews given a shot there by Dahlin. Now the puck comes out to the side of the goal and back towards the blue line. Kept alive there on a good play by the Leafs at the blue line by Brody. Brody down in along the boards, trying to chip it back, but it is stolen by Middlestat, and he carries to center ice. Got around Tavares. Middlestat in on the far wing, can't get a shot away, and it is Nyes taking it to the boards, but losing control of it. And now the Leafs with Brody working back off the board, sends a bank pass ahead. Tavares gets down the right wing boards and into the zone. Pulls up at the half wall, tried to roll it in front of the net, but it was too close and didn't have much on it. And Levi is able to cover up on it and hold for a face-off.
Well, just for fun, during the commercial break, the record for most goals against in a single game is 14. Actually, the 14 Buffalo scored back in March 19th, 1981. Tied a record. They gave up 14 goals against Montreal in 1920. So how's that for equaling a record?
All right. Good play made by Bertuzzi to knock it away initially, but the Sabres get it across the line. And Benoit will restore it for the Maple Leafs and get it ahead for Tavares. Up on the right side for Marner. Marner pulls up along the boards, back in for the captain. Back to the point it goes. Timmins off on the left wing. Benoit with a shot. That deflected wide of the goal. Kept alive by Marner. Centering pass then by Bertuzzi was blocked. He's able to restore the puck along the boards. Back of the net for Marner. Marner curls out. Still with it on his stick. Tried to flip it in front. Comes to Bertuzzi. Shot over top of the net off a skate. Boy, he was right in the slot when he hesitated enough to get control of the puck, but then a skate got in the way and deflected it right over top of the goal.
Well, he was looking past, but because nobody challenged him, he eventually decided I might as well throw it to the net.
Back to the point. Drive there. Deflects wide of the Buffalo goal. Shots are 20-17 in favor of Buffalo. The score is a lopsided 6-3 Sabre lead. Played out into the center ice area. Right back down into the Toronto zone it goes. Jones getting it ahead for Liljegren. Liljegren's pass deflected off a stick out at center. Yarnkrok, who has scored in the game, can't get control of it. Sabres send it back in, and then Jones playing it up on the wing will get it out, and it's down into Buffalo territory, and an icing call coming here.
Okay, going back to find that game in March. For fun, when the Buffalo Sabres beat the Leafs 14-4.
I don't think that's fun.
One thing of note, Bunny LaRocque started. They pulled him on
Yuri Sira.
Yuri Sira went in. Gave up, actually, had 32 shots. But the score at the end of the first period in that game, Joe. 1-0 Buffalo. The Sabres would score 9 in the second period and 4 in the third.
Yeah. I arrived the next season, and that game was a...
I think that rattled off the crossbar.
Crossbar, yeah. That game was very much on the mouths of people as we made the trip to Buffalo the next season. At any rate, it's a 6-3 Buffalo lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herwin. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Williamsburg Green is everything you want in a community. Enjoy fabulous trails, parks, playgrounds, sports areas, and more. Our beautiful all-brick homes include luxury features you've always dreamed of, even a fully finished lower level. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Take two-man-truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think two-man-truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, two-men-in-a-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of, all of us are not the same. So that's our company name, two-men-in-a-truck.ca. We're lots
today. You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs.
In there was Kyle Oposo once more. So how's Martin Jones's night been? Well,
50% save percentage.
50% save percentage. Both of them have been penalty or breakaways as it's cleared down into the corner. Round on the boards. Nylander couldn't get it out. Matthews wasn't able to either. Now Greenway into the corner, gets it back to the point. Near side for Dahlin. Dahlin sidesteps one with a nice move, and a shot was off the mark wide, and the rebound is going to carry him and roll all the way down into Buffalo territory. Rasmus Dahlin, who has scored his 9th of the season, is also minus 10 on the year, and a penalty coming here. A slash, and is it going to the Leafs and Jake McCabe? I believe it is.
The one official has very low tolerance for any kind of infraction, and this is both ways.
42, minor penalty slashing.
Now Oposo shot the first time and beat Martin Jones' glove side, and now the second time he tries to go forehand, backhand, and deep, but Martin Jones was able to get the right pad out.
15:56, the time of this penalty to McCabe.
Each team with a power play goal, each team with a shorthanded goal.
Each team with a two-man advantage. The Sabres scored their power play goal with the two-man advantage. At the point, Thompson, left wing side, off a face-off win. Slides it around back of the net. Got it back from Tuck. Now hold on to it. Back to the point. Dahlin gets it returned from Skinner. Skinner with it again in the far circle. Cross-ice pass. Broken up partially there by the Leafs, but they don't get it out. Here's Dahlin closing with a pass to the far side. Skinner with a shot. Blockered away nicely by Martin Jones. Puck comes back to the blue line. Tag Thompson works back into the slot. Had to go off a stick and off a leg into the corner, but Skinner is there to restore it. Got it back again to the point. Dahlin to Thompson, and he fanned on it completely. Wide of the net, but he gets a second opportunity at it, and that is deflected up into the screen. Benoit went nose first. I don't know if he got to it or not.
Well, I'll tell you something. I mean, you've got to respect this. This is exactly where the likes of Alexander Ovechkin and Brett Hull And you might be able to throw Steven Stamkos in there as well. A right-handed shot on the left wing side, top of the circle, and Tage Thompson can absolutely hammer it.
Benoit got across and got his literally made a skate save and deflected it up into the screen. Power keeps the puck in for Buffalo. Stolen by the Maple Leafs, and now they have a bit of a 2-on-1 breaking, but it's broken up there as Gregor overhandled the puck and then lost it. Power will start back with a minute to go in the power play. He's going to drop it off. Carried through by Peterka and got into the zone. Centering pass was blocked by the skate of Morgan Riley. Trying to flip it along the boards. The Leafs send it to an open wing, but it's going to come to the point and out into the center ice area. Sabres go back to recover back of their net. Jack Quinn getting it up on the left wing. Peterka couldn't get into the Leafs zone. And Power goes back, stolen almost by Nylander, and now fully stolen. Sends a weak shot wide of the net, thinking for a moment there that maybe Matthews was going to be able to get there. Now Matthews has stolen the puck. He works diligently down in the offensive zone, and the Sabres finally get it away from him and get out at center. A pass in on the left wing. Benson mishandles the puck. Liljegren gets it airmailed and out and down the ice. 8 seconds left in the penalty. 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the second period, and the Buffalo Sabres have a 6-3 lead. Played down into the Toronto end. Liljegren, lead pass at center, brought in over the line for Tavares. He stops up, tried to play it into the slot area, and the Sabres bring it back. Olofsson in on the right side. A long shot is deflected wide of the net. Into the near corner and now up on the wing for Marner. Marner got it ahead. Benoit is able to play it into the Buffalo zone. Bertuzzi goes in after it but won't get there in time, and the Sabres have sent it out and down into the Leaf end. Minute 29 to go in the period. There's going to be a comeback in this one. It would be nice to get one before time expires.
Yeah, that game you said you remembered well. The Leafs were down 5-2 into the third.
5-2? Played along the boards and into the corner it goes. Here's Samuelson for the Sabres getting it freed up. Overskating it, though, was Mittelstadt. He gives it back to Samuelson, who will play it up on the wing for Zach Benson, and down the ice it goes. Greenway after the puck. Crowd making some kind of noise over something or other that we aren't able to see. And now here is McCabe playing it up on the left wing. Brody, or at least Domi, getting it around back of the net, gets it in the corner, chips it back towards the blue line, but it didn't reach Riley as it's brought to center by Zach Benson. Benson to Mittelstadt, back for Benson down into the corner in the Leaf zone. Mittelstadt trying to free it up, still has it, works to the half board, still has it in front of the net, and a wrist shot taken there by Greenway just went wide. He opened the scoring in the first period. Long shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Played into the near corner. Yarnkrok around back of the net. Liljegren playing it off the boards and getting it out with a dozen seconds left to go in the period. It's been a huge second frame for the Buffalo Sabres, who have driven Ilya Samsonov from the net and are going to carry a 3-goal lead into the third period on the strength of a 2-man advantage goal that made it 4-2. Yarnkrok scored shorthanded to make it 4-3, but Thompson and Opozo have opened up a 3-goal lead. It is 6-3 after 40 minutes.
Leafs only gave up 11 shots in the second period, but they only had 5. And that's obviously something that's got to change. So 24-15, the shots overall favoring the Buffalo Sabres. 9 goals on 39 shots combined between these two teams. And maybe the way things have been going for both clubs, let's not put this one to bed yet. Next 2 or 3 goals could be the big ones.
We didn't have the nerve to say that when Columbus was here, but it did happen. So we'll wait and see, as they say. We'll ship it off to Eilish Forfar along with Justin Cuthbert. 6-3 Buffalo after 40. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Dashing through the field on Channel 88. Catch the Sunday drive. Playoffs on the way.
This is Steve Torrey. Join Bill Leckus and me for a Christmas Eve edition of the Sunday Drive at noon Eastern. Touchdown! For live listen-ins, guests, and fantasy analysis around the NFL. Then catch a Christmas Day triple header between the Raiders, Chiefs, Giants, and Eagles, Ravens, and 49ers on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app. Ho, ho, ho!
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time, Patrick Waugh. When you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had New Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kerr. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Radio Network.
Well, welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, the fan of the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Justin Cuthbert and Nailish Forfar here for your intermission show. 6-3 lead for the Buffalo Sabres after 40 minutes. We thought the first period was, a taste of what we're going to get, and we were certainly right about that. 6-3, goals, shorthanded goals, breakaway goals, goalies getting pulled. You had it all, really.
Yeah, you did have it all, but I mean, would we be bearing the lead if we weren't talking about anyone but Ilya Samsonov? And I've been tiptoeing around this issue for a while, asking a couple guests and the opportunities that we have. But the idea of trading Ilya Samsonov and whether Martin Jones' emergence, if you want to call it that, can kind of change things, and Dennis Hildeby being such a stud at the American Hockey League level, does that change anything? Joseph Wall being the undisputed, I think, number one at this point, does that change anything? I just don't know how you can't look at this opportunity and not, or at least this problem, and not see solutions. Trading Ilya Samsonov would not only prevent him from getting starts with this team, but he's worth $3.55 million against the salary cap. Combine him with the cap savings on John Klingberg, and it's $7.75 million to spend before the deadline. I mean, this is an opportunity to get rid of a problem, but also bolster your roster. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're the San Jose Sharks, and if the San Jose Sharks have something to give you, they don't care about winning games down the stretch. That's just a throw in to make salaries work. If Samsonov is on, like, maybe you don't want to go into the playoffs with Joseph Woll and Martin Jones. You don't feel comfortable about that. But you're never going to feel comfortable at this point with Ilya Samsonov in the net. Like, how could you watch this performance from Samsonov and think, yeah, there's still a chance he's going to be starting playoff games that you want. You think you're going to win.
I don't think you can put him in the net.
And that's the point. If he can't play for you in the playoffs, which seems very obvious at this point where he's at, then what's the point in having him soak up $3.55 million on the salary cap? You're doing yourself a disservice if you allow him to take up that big of your salary cap.
Okay, so I'm totally on board. I don't have a lick of confidence when he's in there, right? Like, and I think that the team is showing that as well. It's a different Maple Leafs team out there when he's in the net. And I thought that this opportunity would give him the confident Ilya Samsonov. We saw that, though, for a long stretch. I think we'd be feeling a little bit, I guess, more confused if we hadn't seen him go through these spurts. But remember last year when he was one of the best goaltenders in the NHL? What happened? He was so dominant on home ice. He had an incredible save percentage. He was like lights out. And then something changed and he hasn't found it. And now it almost like hurts to see him have to go out there. Tonight we had hyped all this up. Buffalo Sabres aren't that good. This is a perfect opportunity for him. And he got shelled and he got pulled and you could see frustration. And they weren't even hard goals.
Pucks going through
it
gloves.
Went through his glove and he looked at his glove like, what happened? And I don't know. It's got to the point where it is definitely untenable, but I'm not fully in the trade him right now camp. You need to give Martin Jones another game or two, right? He's got he's played a lot of hockey, but Joseph Woll hasn't played a lot of hockey. And between the two of them, there's still question marks. Like, they're better. They're less of a question mark than, I guess, Ilya Samsonov right now. But if the Maple Leafs want to win a Stanley Cup, want to get past one round in the playoffs, want to get past two, I would hope that Joseph Woll has shown us like the real Joseph Woll. And I don't have a reason not to, but he's young and he isn't as experienced. And Martin Jones has been a good story the last couple of games, but he's been floating around for a reason, right?
Yeah. I'm 100%. Like, they don't have
a conundrum.
They clearly, Joseph Woll not being available puts them in a bind. But Martin Jones isn't going to have performances like this. Like, Martin Jones can allow goals. Martin Jones is not an elite goaltender in this league anymore, or maybe never was. But looking completely lost, looking like you don't want to be there, looking like you're a fish out of water. I don't think you're going to get that in any spot from Martin Jones. He might not steal you anything, but he's not going to do this.
Yeah, there's
there's
a body language, or there's a confidence, an internal confidence. Like, you can walk the walk, you can talk the talk, but when you're in the net, it's how we're perceiving you, and you don't look comfortable, you don't look prepared, or you don't look like you've given yourself the opportunity to come out and steal a game. It hasn't been great, and I have a stat for you too. His .871 save percentage. This is Ilya Samsonov.
Yeah.
Ilya Samsonov's .871 save percentage is the lowest by a Maple Leafs goaltender through his first 14 starts of the season since Alan Bester in 1989. So I wasn't alive for the Alan Bester days, but we seem to be creeping towards that type of goaltender.
We're in Bester territory is what you're saying? You don't want to be in Bester territory, but that's where Samsonov is. Just quickly, one last point. Mm-hmm. The Leafs are not in a position where you can't gamble just a little bit, right? They're not. You're up against the salary cap. You don't have much relief. You're going to have to put some chips into the table. Mm-hmm. Anytime you're going for it, there's some risk associated with it. And if the main variable is, hey, if our number one goaltender goes down, we may not have a suitable backup, or we may not have someone who has the ceiling that maybe Ilya Samsonov has shown once or in spurts over the course of his career. Like, then so be it. Like, you can't, if you have that injury, you're probably in trouble anyway.
Yeah.
You can't, the 3.55 doesn't even count if he's on the bench. So use it. If you're not going to use him, then use it to your advantage and bring someone else in for 3.55.
He's given up 15 goals in his last 3 starts, and he is on the bench for the rest of this one. We'll take a quick break, give a couple more thoughts, and a look around the NHL scoreboard on the other side. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now, starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage. I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green and Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-like en-suites, and a fully finished lower level. Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds, and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. Shopping stress? I get it. Dad wants
a motorcycle.
And Mom wants,
a 4x4, please.
But if you get them what they want, it won't be a surprise. So get them the next best thing. Great Canadian Meat.
Did you get my text? I want a trip to the Bahamas.
As if. Our sweet heat beef jerky is hotter than any beach in the Bahamas. And the guy she hopes to meet there. Keep it real. Get them Great Canadian Meat from our store in Whitby or greatcanadianmeat.com.
Take 2 minute a truck, 2 minute a truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 minute a truck, 2 minute a truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 minute a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert. Maple Leafs trail 6-3 after 2 periods. But let's see what else is going around the NHL scoreboard. Presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
9 games ongoing, 3 more to come, so 12 in total tonight. The Lightning are up 4-2. End of the second period over the Golden Knights. Flyers and Predators knotted at 2. Capitals up 2-1 right now on the Blue Jackets. It's 1-1 between the Hurricanes and Penguins. The Blues hold a 3-1 lead over the Panthers. It worked for the Devils, 2-2 right now. They pulled their goaltender. They've knotted things up with the Edmonton Oilers in the second period. Stars and Canucks up or tied 1-1 end of first period. And currently ongoing, the Wild are up 2-0 on the Canadiens. Still to come, Avalanche hosts the Stars, Sharks host the Coyotes, and the Ducks host the Flames.
On Bet365 is plus 1,400 for the Leafs to win this game. There have been stranger things. This game has been a up and down roller coaster. And if you're going to go from 6-3 to 6-6 and go to overtime, I feel like that's something the Maple Leafs might do.
They've erased larger leads.
And they've also given up larger leads. So,
yeah, I suppose they have.
So anything can happen. And the third period is just around the corner. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call for you next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Discover a world of dancehall and Afrobeats with a reggae icon as your musical guide.
Mr. Lover, this is Sugar!
Sharing bouncy beats and unique island vibes from Sean Paul, Lady Saw, and more.
Just give it a light and pass the job. More classics, reggae, and new music from all over.
On his very own channel.
Shaggy's Bombastic Radio.
Channel 332 on most radios and always on the Sirius XM app. Just search
Shaggy!
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius
going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play.
Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs have a lot of work to do in the third period, down 6-3. Nylander's assist on Yarnkrok's goal at 5:42 of the second period has increased his point streak to 10 games. 3 goals and 12 assists for 15 points. Jake McCabe has a 5-game point streak going, but he has not figured in the scoring as yet.
Right now, the Leafs are in danger of losing back-to-back regulation games for just the second time this year. The only other time it happened was the third and fourth game of the regular season at home to Chicago, and then a 3-1 loss in Florida against the Panthers.
Here's Nyes working to the right wing side. One hands it deep into Buffalo territory. Got in on the forecheck, but the puck goes back of the net for Samuelson, who got it up on the wing, and it is quickly played off the glass to center ice. Leafs get it back to the red line, but brought in by Thompson. Sharp angle shot, went off a stick and then fluttered to the net, and Martin Jones made short order of that. Martin Jones taking over for Ilya Samsonov after the 5th goal scored by Thompson. Opposo then welcomed him to the game with a breakaway goal, shorthanded. And since then, he has been letter perfect. But he got 39 shots and 9 goals. So the goaltenders union is not going to have this game on display. Back of the net, a jam play at the side of the net by Tavares. Didn't quite get in front. And now the Sabres break it out into neutral ice. Up on the right side for Jack Quinn. Poked off his stick momentarily. He gets it back again. Look out! He shot the puck 100 feet wide of the net. And I think it struck Bertuzzi, but it may have. I mean, it was nowhere near the goal. And the most shocked person in the rink was Bertuzzi when it was coming right at his lookers. Brought in over the line now by the Sabres, intercepted by Toronto. Robertson got the puck free, starts out, now just sends an airmail that gets in over the line. Yarnkrok couldn't quite settle it down, or he might have been able to pull right in front of the net. Robertson trying to knock it free, and Domi gets to the loose puck and plays it back to the point. Liljegren sends it to the net. That was deflected wide of the goal before it reached Levi, and the Sabres have it under control back in their own zone. Played ahead at center by Eric Johnson, and now an errant pass turns into an icing, and the Leafs are going to get a face-off in Buffalo territory, and Bertuzzi looks like he's okay. I mean, that didn't...
Well, might have hit the Buffalo player right in front of him,
Peterka, yeah.
We're going to look again. I mean, they're both looking, and they both bail. I don't know whether it caught the shoulder of Peterka or Bertuzzi.
But it was...
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean,
30 feet?
Yeah.
Going wide in front of the goal?
When you say everything's been going in tonight, not everything.
Not everything, no. Now back down into the Toronto zone. Liljegren plays it around the boards to the far side. And you think of strange games in Buffalo. Remember when the other McCabe, Brian, had the puck in front of the Leaf goal, trying to play it into the corner. And boy, he just drilled it right into the corner of the net. No one around him. Back to the point, off a skate. Going to come back down into Toronto territory, and Riley goes back to it.
Is that a game-winning goal, too?
I think it was. It had quite a bearing on the game. I know that. Now here's Matthews. Got it to the side of the goal, jamming at it. Nylander, puck is still free. It comes back to the point, kept in by Brody. Far side, and a whistling drive taken there by Nyes, but it was deflected wide of the net. Played by Tuck off the boards and out and down the ice. Icing waved off by the linesman. McCabe had just come over the boards and was in position, I suppose, to play it. And now he starts back. Up on the right side it goes. Weaving in on the left wing is Nylander. Nylander pulls up in the near corner. Looks to make a pass. Backhands it into the corner. Trapped by, got by McCabe, but kept up. Nylander pulls up in the near corner. Looks to make a pass. Backhands it into the corner. Trapped by, got by McCabe, but kept alive by Willie. Now McCabe, cross ice. Matthews with a swinging strike at it, and it just went off a leg and went wide. Brody brings it right back in again. Leafs trying to press and get some momentum going here, but they're down 3. Puck at the side of the net, centered in front, off the goal post by Brody. We criticized him for not shooting. That time it was a bullet, and now another chance, and that was blocked before it reached the net. But his last one rang right off the far pipe. Marner gets it back of the net. Kicks it free. Matthews in front. Brody again with it. Brody curls. Looks for... Marner gets it back of the net. Kicks it free. Matthews in front. Brody again with it. Brody curls. Looks for a man in front. Leafs are trying to get a change going. They've got the Sabres down in their own zone. Marner trying to help out. Comes back to Tavares. He can't come up with it. Sabres get it out at center. And now down into the Toronto end. And a pretty good hook by Skinner on Tavares goes undetected. Then the Sabre player falls down. The puck comes back up on the right wing side. Clifton gets it down into the corner. That got past Brody. He's been on for a long shift with all of those attempts at the other end. And now brought out by Timmins. Off a skate, it'll bounce to center ice. Sabres turning back in their own zone. Connor Clifton brings it to center. Got it in on the left side. And a penalty coming to Toronto.
Boy, there have been some weak calls, haven't there? And I mean both ways.
Yep. And John Tavares, I think, is going to get the penalty for hooking. Connor Clifton, whose namesake may be just down the road, Clifton Hill in Niagara Falls. Probably no relation. And it was a stretch at the best of times.
I did get a text during the game from Michel Goulet.
Oh?
Hall of Famer.
How's Michel doing?
Well, the discussion that this is, I mean, lately, and this is around the league, it's looking a lot like the 80s. I mean, you saw some of the lopsided losses that San Jose had early on.
This will even the power play opportunities up at 4 apiece.
We knew it was going to take some time, but we got there.
Both teams have scored with the man advantage. Sabres with a 2-man advantage. The Leafs with a 5-on-4. Puck down along the boards, brought out now by Toronto. Brody works to the left wing, got out at center. He's sort of surrounded there, but got it to David Camp, who now circles back and is going to send it all the way back in his own zone before it's Played ahead at center and down into Buffalo territory. Yarnkrok was up there hoping for a chance to do a little odd man rush. Didn't materialize. He has scored shorthanded, though.
We're going to see Matthews out on the penalty kill here as well.
Played down into the Toronto end. And Martin Jones signaling the ref that it got into the screen. And the other referee makes the call.
And we have seen Willie Nylander, Auston Matthews kill penalties. But it seems like Sheldon Keefe, well, it's based on the score. You need maybe a shorthanded goal or some sort of opportunity. You throw Matthews and Nylander out.
Now it is Gregor and Yarnkrok who remain the forwards. Benoit played it around back of the net. Tuck gets it along the boards for Skinner. Back into the corner for Tuck. Centering pass for Middlestat. That didn't work. Leafs are able to get to it, and they have sent it out and down the ice. Rasmus Dahlin goes back for the puck. Starts up ice, dropping it back. Jack Quinn takes, or at least Tag Thompson takes his time getting across the line. Back to the point it goes to Tuck. Tuck down into the corner. Middlestat gets it back to the point. Dahlin holds, got a shot away. That deflected wide of the Leaf goal. Puck to the far wing. Thompson with it again. Holding against the boards. Arizona native gets it back to the blue line. Now to the near side for Middlestat. Holding. Pass to Thompson. Thompson with a shot. Rang it off the crossbar. Back to the point it comes. Middlestat once more with a shot that's blocked. Scramble goes on in front of the goal. Knocked into the corner by Noah Gregor. Now Matthews trying to get it out, and they do as it sails down with just 6 seconds left in the power play. Quick played up by Devin Levi, the goaltender, but the Sabres will have it in their own end as the penalty box door opens and Tavares escapes. He's going to stay on with Matthews and Nylander. Puck goes around the boards into the near corner. Brought with a long lead pass to center. Flipped high into the zone. Tavares trying to make a fair catch with it. Had to go off a glove, and then a shot was blocked. Riley with a shot. That didn't get through. Boy, there was a lot of traffic in front of that net. Played by Opozo down into the Leaf end. All of the scoring has dried up. Now here's Krebs trying to get it in front of the net. A shot stopped by Jones on the short side. Timmins lost his stick. But now Bertuzzi skates through neutral ice. Bertuzzi in over the line. Tavares went to the front of the net. The shot by Bertuzzi was deflected into the corner. Comes back into the slot. Now for Nylander, and a shot. A wrister was deflected and went wide, and now comes back out at center ice. Brody, little stutter step, finds his man across the line and trying to roll it in there. Brody was headed for the front of the net, but it was out of his reach. Sabres with it back of their goal. Buffalo 6, Toronto 3 with 12:10 to play here in the third. Sabres in across the line, trying to get a shot away, and it was high and wide of the net off the stick of Peterka and back down into Buffalo territory where Samuelsson will get it back up ahead. Off the stick, Quinn couldn't get it into the Leaf zone. Yarnkrok had it bound over his stick. Couple of bounces now, and the Maple Leafs finally have it settled down and play it around on the far wing for Liljegren, who punches it out at center ice, but back come the Sabres. Peterka in on the right side. Cousins sends it around the boards back of the net. Liljegren reversing the puck to find his defense mate, and McCabe will drop it back for Liljegren, who returns the favor, and McCabe starts out. Domi is with him. He'll take the pass on left wing. Backhands it into Buffalo territory. Gregor goes down after it as it's played up on the right side, and Quinn gets it to center, and the Sabres send it down into the Toronto zone. Buffalo is just 6-8-1 on home ice this year, trying to reach the 500 mark. And they gave up a ton against the Columbus Blue Jackets in their last outing. Camp is taken down back of the goal. Couldn't get a pass in front of the net.
Like Camp wanted maybe a boarding penalty there. He went hard into the end boards.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Riley playing it along the wall. Chipped ahead for Camp. David Camp starts out of his own end. He's going to skate to center. Backhands it towards the left wing corner. And heading to the bench, I believe. No, he stays out there. And now Thompson gives it away. Nylander with Camp, and a shot off the blocker of Levi. Went over top of the net. When both teams have given up pretty good scoring chances. As it comes back out into the center ice area. Nylander back in, dropping it back. Knives into the corner. A shot from a sharp angle. Levi is going to pounce on a rolling puck after the fact and will hold for a face-off as the Leafs and the Sabres will go to a commercial break. 6-3, Buffalo with the lead at the KeyBank Center in Buffalo. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The Dodgers get Shohei Ohtani.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
10 years, $700 million. That's insane.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Shohei Ohtani is Babe Ruth, only better.
Expert analysis on MLB Network Radio.
I'm not sure that all of the contracts that I ever negotiated even total $700 million.
Where the players join the discussion.
Will Smith, Dodgers catcher.
He's the best player in baseball.
Live sports talk when you need it on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles for the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM Radio Network.
Buffalo Sabres 6, the Toronto Maple Leafs 3. All of the scoring in the first 2 periods. It was 3-2 Buffalo after 1, 6-3 Sabres after 2. Nothing has transpired here in the third period as a shot deflects off a leg in the Buffalo zone and goes harmlessly wide. And it's played back out at center where Morgan Riley gets it ahead for Nyes. Nyes dropping it back. Brought into the zone by Liljegren. Chipped off the glass. A little too high, unfortunately, and it goes into the screen out of play.
Leafs really have not had a lot of jumps since the first period. Only 5 shots on goal in the second. They scored a shorthanded goal. But we saw stretches in the opening period, and I think the offensive zone time is about, 5.5 minutes to 3.5 over Buffalo. But give the Sabres credit. They clogged up the middle of the ice. Leafs are having all kinds of trouble getting pucks through to the net.
Draw one by Toronto. Brody gets it back. Played into the corner. Brody centers. It comes right into the slot for Marner. Marner trying to make a pass in front. He had Bertuzzi all alone, but it rolled off his stick. Down around back of the net. Bertuzzi in there. Had it knocked away, and Rasmus Dahlin starts away now for Buffalo. Dahlin gets to the red line, pies the rest of the rink by sending it in. Jones playing it around the boards, and it'll be Bertuzzi able to break it out. A left wing feed for Brody. Brody gets down into the corner, ridden to the boards by Clifton, and now the Sabres break it right back up at center. Peterka in over the line on the left wing with a high drive that went off the glass and came to the near side. Brody couldn't get it out. Around into the far corner looking for a man in front. The pass right through the goal crease and they score. Jack Quinn going to the front of the net. May have got a piece of this, but a centering pass is deflected into the Leaf goal, and it is 7-3.
That's the mistake. Jake McCabe misses it going around the boards in behind the net. And even though he dashed out to the top of the crease, nobody picks up Quinn. And a great pass from the corner to the right of Martin Jones. Goes to the front of the net. And it was Peterka, I think, Joe, that made the pass from the corner. Looked up, and it zips just past the stick of Martin Jones onto the stick of Quinn, who just taps it in.
And the problem Jones had was that Samuelsson had gone to the
Quinn, who just taps it in.
And the problem Jones had was that Samuelsson had gone to the near side of the net, and the pass went right by him. And then Quinn was on the far side, and by then there was no chance of getting over. So the Sabres are doing what they do best at home against the Maple Leafs, and that is rub their noses in it as the shot from the point is blocked. The Leafs play it around back of the net, and Max Domi has it there. Played off the boards to center. Deflects away from Yarnkrok. Cleared right back down into Toronto territory. Riley punches it along for Kemp, who gets it out. Sabres have it again. Buffalo's record overall 13-17-3, 29 points. That's 9 points less than what the Leafs have in the standings. But it's going to be 2-0 for the Sabres against the Leafs this season. And another shot, scores again. Skinner on a scramble in front of the net. And now it's an 8-3 hockey game.
And the Leafs, they're in quicksand now. As Skinner snaps it past Martin Jones. Now Buffalo getting all kinds of time and space in the Leaf end. This is the fourth line that's usually been pretty good in their own end. But, Buffalo looks like the 72 Russians moving the puck around. 2 passes to get it to the slot to Jeff Skinner. And from between the hash marks, and Tage Thompson made the pass out front. The Tuck, instead of Tuck shooting right away, he spins and drops it for Skinner. And now it looks like a shinny game.
Looks more like the Harlem Globetrotters, if you ask me. 8-3 Buffalo. Well, let's see. The Leafs were down 5. Well, there's 7:22 left. No, I don't think that's happening.
They were down 3 with 5.5 left against Columbus.
Around the boards, far side, back into the slot. Nylander sends it towards the net. That was blocked in front. And the Sabre fans will be enjoying this in their home rink with a lot of Leaf fans in attendance. As Matthews couldn't get a puck to settle down, he gets another opportunity. Fed on the left wing. Benoit's shot is blocked by Levi. And the Sabres get it out and down into Toronto territory.
You give Buffalo credit. They give up 9 goals. They get hammered at home against Columbus 2 nights ago, and this is their response.
Well, Don Granato would have been in their ear, I'm sure.
Well, there was a chance about firing the coach in Buffalo last game.
Brought out by Buffalo to center. Played in on the left wing. Into the corner goes Dylan Cousins. Bertuzzi can't get it out. Gets it again and muscles it out at center ice. Marner overskated the puck, but now Tavares gets it and they get it down into the Buffalo end. 6 minutes to go in the third period. The Sabres 8. The Maple Leafs 3. Long shot deflects wide of the Buffalo goal. Long carom in back of the net for Tavares. Now to Marner. Back to Tavares coming out in front. Rolled off his stick as he tried to get a shot away. And Buffalo breaks it out at center with one defenseman back. Marner trying to help out. Peterka dropping it back. Marner deflected it away. Peterka got another shot as it rolled to him, and he had it blockered away nicely there by Martin Jones. The Leafs road trip continues with their final game before the Christmas break, and that is in Columbus. And that's Saturday, and we'll have it for you right here on all of these stations. But a day to mull about this one, to think about the goaltending situation and various other things. But playing to your opposition is the DNA that this scene, and another goal by the Sabres now on a scramble in front of the net, and Opozo has his second.
You might
what
think
was the 14 one?
Still 4:58 to go, but that's the 9th goal on 32 shots. As now for Martin Jones, I mean, there have been a couple that he's given up. This is just a loose puck that Oposo finds at the top of the circle, and he just turns, fires it towards the net, right along the ice, through some skates, 5-hole.
Oposo with his 2nd of the game and his 8th of the season. An 18th career 2-goal game for Oposo, the former Islander.
And even though we thought we were getting it a couple of games ago against Columbus, you could say the one thing about the Leafs, they haven't been blown out this year.
And I remember now what the chant was, and I just heard it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We want 10. Well, the 14 back in 81 was there. Nylander at center ice trying to backhand it in over the line. That doesn't work. Here the Sabres breaking back the other way. Middlestat dropping it back. Darling couldn't get a backhand away. Played back along the boards for Middlestat. Middlestat loses it. Back to the point. Darling closes with a shot. That was blocked. And Matthews just launches it high and gets it out into the center ice area. Nyes couldn't catch up to it.
I'm not sure I can remember the last time the Leafs gave up 10.
Played out at center ice.
Gave up 9, remember, against Nashville, Salute Gate. I believe it was 9 goals against at home in that game.
One of the other games in Buffalo that I remember was the Salute and the golf. Remember?
Peters.
Yep. Andrew Peters giving it the golf treatment to the Leafs because it pretty much knocked them out of the playoff run at that point.
I think they'd been eliminated the night before.
Yep.
And had to finish in Buffalo.
Sabres get it to the Leaf blue line. Bertuzzi is able to get it back in. Marner goes into pursuit after it. Can't get there ahead of Owen Power. And the Sabres will play it out into the center ice area. 32-25 are the shots. 9-3 is the score. And 2:54 to go. And everybody on the blue and white over on the Leaf bench are hoping that they're going to just run the clock. Cousins in on the right side, just plays it down around back of the net. Wouldn't RJ have had a wonderful night tonight? Here's McCabe getting it up.
Still miss those in-game texts. Game like this would be
long shot.
The Leafs played one. I went back and looked it up. A text I got from RJ in January, and it was a high-scoring game. And a text midway through the second period. Are you playing goal for both teams?
Well, he's not tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I can let you know about that, but it is a 9-3 Buffalo lead. And we'll step aside. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
John Tavares set up by Willie. The Leafs win it in overtime.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Well, the Buffalo Sabres had 9 scored on them in their previous game. They have scored 9 here tonight and lead the Maple Leafs in the final 2 minutes and 14 seconds of the third period by a 9-3 count.
The first team to score or allow 8 or more goals in one game and then come back and score 8 or more goals in the next since the 2005 Toronto Maple Leafs. That game, the Leafs gave up 8 in Ottawa and then came back and beat the New York Islanders 9-6. And something tells me that 9-6 win over the New York Islanders was a significant victory for Eddie Belfour. I don't know what number win it was. Now I'm going to have to go home and look it up.
Go and look that up.
Remember Rick DiPietro, I believe.
You know what? I'll give you till Saturday.
I'll forget by the time.
I'll send you. Face off in the Toronto zone, and Morgan Rielly just trying to get through this. Gets it out at center ice with 1:40 to go in the third period. McMahon and Gregor, along with David Camp, may play a minute and a half here to finish the game.
Samsonov, by the way, it's the third time this season he's been pulled. But it'll be the first time he'll take the loss.
Shot caroms off the goalpost and went wide of the Toronto goal. We were looking at that and he said, had he won the 5 games in overtime, he'd have been 10-1 coming into this game, regardless of what all of the other side noise was going on. We've got a whistle here. And Thompson, is that Domi in the middle of it?
Yeah, it is.
I think it is. Clifton has moved in there. Benoit's got a hold of someone.
A hold of Thompson.
Thompson in a bit of a headlock.
Jeff Skinner is chirping from afar. And it was almost comical. It looked like Jeff Skinner was chirping at Jake McCabe. But he wasn't going to stay. He was on his way. It was like he was going to go to the bench and tell on him. It was, Domi will go to the box. Tuck will go to the box. Tuck's had a big night as well. 4 assists on the night for Alex Tuck. You should be able to get the 3 stars in rather early.
Domi kind of straightened up Skinner, and then Skinner came back at him and ended up tripping and falling, and that's when the scrum started. So it was initially Domi trying to get a piece of Jeff Skinner.
And that game,
the scrum started. So it was initially Domi trying to get a piece of Jeff Skinner.
And that game, the Nashville game we talked about, where the Leafs lost at home, the 9-2 loss, November the 18th, 2014. And you remember the Leafs won the next game, but because they'd been booed off the ice the game before, the Leafs did not go to center ice. And
the salute gate.
I'm not a big fan of the saluting the crowd only after you win. I mean, shouldn't you go out and apologize after a bad game? Don't take the good with the bad.
No.
Anyway, the Leafs didn't go out and salute the crowd after win the next day, and then of course it became quite a deal.
And Dion Phaneuf was right in the middle of all of that, and so was Phil Kessel, right?
Well, 5 to go.
Incidentally, remains unemployed, although still hoping for some kind of employment maybe in the second half of the season.
You know, say what you want. An incredible career and still one of the great characters of the game.
Oh, boy, yes. Yep.
Unintentionally.
Yep. Domi gets the penalty, and the power play will go to Buffalo, who can put a solid 10 spot up on the board if they score here in the next 47 seconds. Down into the corner it goes. Opozo trying to dig it free. And maybe the response that Domi, you look for players to have when you're getting your nose rubbed in it, was there. But here's puck kept in by Owen Power. Gets it again at the point. Now lets a shot go. That was deflected down and smothered by Martin Jones. And a faceoff coming in the Toronto zone.
Johnny Granato not throwing out the big horses. And that was something that a lot of teams can appreciate. A lot of other coaches will appreciate. I do remember there was a game where a Leaf coach had a 5 or 6, I think it might have been 6 or 7 goal lead at home against the New York Rangers, and kept throwing out his number one power play unit because of his dislike for the opposing coach.
Well, the final seconds will tick down. The damage has all been done. And the Buffalo Sabres have beaten the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 9-3. Time for the Molson 3 Stars, and I dare say there won't be anybody in a blue and white uniform probably in your selections there, Mr. Ralph.
Now we got to go all Buffalo tonight. Jeff Skinner will go star number 1, 2 goals and 3 points on the night. Star number 2 will be Kyle Opozo. Had a couple of goals as well. And really the breakaway goal when Martin Jones first went in. That to me, the game was done. After that, it's easy to say after the fact, but it was done then. And we already mentioned that Alex Tuch 4 assists on the night. We'll give him star number 3. You might be able to juggle those around your own liking, but I don't think there's any question. Those are the 3 that stood out.
Well, a day to digest this, and then it will be Saturday night in Columbus, and we'll have that action for you. Hope that you will join us, the Leafs and the Blue Jackets at 7 o'clock.
And one thing, and this is where you get frustrated with the Leafs, you see them play so well in New York against the Rangers, battle back twice against Boston to get points. They in 4 games against the Sabres and Chicago Blackhawks this year. Nada.
And 2. Yeah, Ott and 4. And they have lost to Columbus as well. So we'll see how that turns out. Let's hope they don't have an awful lot of cannon fire going off in Columbus on Saturday. We'll ship it off to Ailish Forfar along with Justin Cuthbert. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Guess who's coming to town? Actually, we were thinking of another legend.
Hey, it's me, Smokey Robinson.
Smokey is gift wrapping Christmas soul classics from the 60s and 70s on his very own channel.
Merry Christmas, baby. I'm going to play some of my favorite Christmas songs. I love this time of year. This Christmas. It's Smokey's Holiday Soul Town.
Now through Christmas Day on Channel 74 and the SiriusXM app.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time, Patrick Waugh. When you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had New Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
To come see our ready-to-wear line of casual and formal attire. You can book a styling appointment with me personally. And if you mention this ad, you will receive an additional 10% of almost all items in the store. I promise you, we have an amazing selection which will impress you. Eric Sana Menswear, in Sherway Gardens, Yorkville at 131 Bloor, and ericsana.com.
At Toyota, we build quality vehicles with you in mind. I mean, it's not like we're always thinking about you. We're not obsessed or anything. We just know you value your 9 to 5 as much as your 5 to 9. And with the reliable RAV4 always ready to roll, you're capable of making the most of both. It's time to make every moment count. It's time at Toyota. Lease a 2024 RAV4 LE all-wheel drive from $95 weekly for 64 months at 7.29% APR with $3,500 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Ontario Toyota dealer today. FYI, still thinking about you.
Meet Rosemary.
I'm a pensioner. I budget very carefully, so saving energy means a lot to me.
When Rosemary heard about the home winterproofing program from Enbridge Gas, she decided to call.
My bills are much better. I noticed a big difference in the comfort.
If your home and household income qualify, you may receive free insulation, draft proofing, and a smart thermostat.
You've got nothing to lose. It's free.
And who doesn't love free? Visit enbridgegas.com/winterproofing. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Heather Reisman, Chief Book Lover at Indigo, with one of my favorite picks to delight the book lovers on your list. I was surprised and totally delighted to fall in love with the famous classic, The Iliad, with the latest edition featuring a brilliant new translation and a stunning cover. This book is a true treasure, whether the person you're gifting is 14 or 84. Visit Indigo and indigo.ca for my full Heather's Pick list this holiday season.
The wait is over.
Remember me?
Two of the biggest nights in television return to City TV. Spread the word. Chicago Wednesday returns with all new episodes of Mad, Fire, and PD January 17th.
I gotta get back to work.
Then it's the return of Law & Order Thursday with new episodes of Law & Order, SVU, and Organized Crime January 18th.
We're doing this my way.
Looks like we're going for a ride. Don't miss the all-new seasons premiering this January only on City TV or stream it on City TV Plus.
Are you looking to drive more leads and calls to your business? Do you want to rank higher in Google and run ads that actually work? I'm Jeff Quipp, founder of Search Engine People, Canada's largest and most experienced search marketing firm. And we can help. Search Engine People has been hand-selected as a Google Premier Partner, ranking in the top 3% of agencies globally. And we're right here in the GTA. Your next customer is out there. Let us introduce you. Check out scp.ca today.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
There's a Molson with your name on it.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forvar and Justin Cuthbert here for the next couple minutes before we send it to Leafs Talk with the boys. And it's probably not going to be a pretty one. A 9-3 loss to the Buffalo Sabres on the road tonight. We came in the second intermission talking about, okay, well, time to trade Ilya Samsonov. Bye-bye. Maybe Martin Jones isn't the answer either because it didn't get much better.
And that is part of the disappointment, though, right? Because, yeah, Martin Jones didn't fare any better. However, it's not just the goaltenders. Like they may have reacted to the play of the goaltenders. They may have been affected by the play of Ilya Samsonov. But ultimately, you do have some control outside of what the goaltenders are doing. And the Maple Leafs, to a man, weren't able to help that in any regard. Like swim upstream. They weren't swimming upstream. They were letting the goaltender flow and the goaltender current whisk them away. It was an ugly one. The best thing you could say about it is that's an outlier one, and it's over. And yeah, maybe you eliminate the outliers at the end of the year. You find your center. That, of course, would be the bottom of the barrel in terms of performances for the Leafs this year.
Only the second time that the Leafs have allowed 9 goals in a game since 1991. The last time was the 9-2 loss to Nashville, which then happened Salute-gate.
Yeah,
in 2014. Salute-gate.
I guess, yeah, we were talking about, hey, we could erase this one from memory. That 9-2-1 lives in infamy.
We remember that one.
So, yeah, maybe it's easier said than done.
All right, well, let's take one last look around the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
A lot of tight games nearing their conclusions. It's 4-4 Golden Knights and Lightning late in the third period. 3-2 Predators over the Flyers late in the third period. 2-2 Capitals and Blue Jackets currently in overtime. 1-1 Penguins and Hurricanes currently in overtime. The Blues have a 4-1 lead over the Panthers. The Stars and Canucks are knotted at 2 in the second period. The Oilers have scored a bunch of goals very quickly here. They're up 5-3 on the New Jersey Devils. Senators up early 2-1 over the Avalanche. Jacques Martin looking for his first victory.
There you go.
Wild up 2-1 on the Canadiens. And 2 games still to come starting at 10 p.m. or later tonight. The Ducks host the Flames. The Sharks host the Coyotes.
All right, could be a long sit at the border if you're headed back. That's a tough one. Oh, but you'll get to listen.
You'll have some entertainment.
The Leafs Talk with JD Bunkus and Sam McKee are up next. Thanks for listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Well,
hello.
It's Leaf Talk, JD Buckus, Sam McKee. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Buckus, at Sammy McKee, where you can see our passive-aggressive Toronto Maple Leafs tweets as they get embarrassed. Embarrassed by the Buffalo Sabres. 9-3. When you get the "we want 10" chant, that's as low as you can go. You know, this is that's what was the guy in Futurama that was the limbo champion? Hermes. That's a Hermes level low.
Wasn't a Futurama guy. Never saw Futurama, so I'll have to take your word for it.
No,
but yeah. So when this game popped up on the schedule and I looked at when it was, I was like, man, that would be a really fun one to go to, right? Like right before Christmas. Right down in Buffalo. Maybe go out for some Lenovo wings before the game. Get a nice little hotel room, go to the Chino, watch the Leafs game. And if I had gone to watch the Owen Sound Attack lose 8-2 to the London Knights, and then followed by going to Buffalo to watch the Leafs lose 9-3 to the Sabres, would have been a tough couple weeks for your boy. But I don't know. I don't know where you want to start. Like it just felt,
I think there's only
it just felt like ultimate quit. There just was a lot of quitting them tonight. They were just waiting to quit, and they got their excuse to, and they stopped.
I think we got to start with the goalie because big story. And Ilya Samsonov, I tweeted this stat, but he's now given up 4 more in half of his starts. Half. By the way, it should actually be more than half, but he got pulled after 3 goals in one of the starts against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
So, half the time you're putting this guy in net, you're saying to the team, you got to get 5 to win.
Yes.
And tonight was just about as bad as I've seen a goalie play in the NHL. Like this is if this was the, late 1980s and we're talking about, Darren Pang in net flying around with street hockey gear, then I would go,
be nice to my boy Panger. Come on now.
Hey, of course, but I'm just saying that, when he put on Ben Bishop's pads, they went up to his chin. All right. That outside of that era, this is as bad as I can remember seeing a goalie play. Like this is worse than Casimir Kaskasuo played for the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is one of the worst performances I can remember from a goaltender. Like this guy was swimming in his net all night long, and he just looks like someone who has lost complete confidence in his game. And I know what he's doing here, man. I know what he's doing here. This is the same that I look like as a young goalie, just desperate, trying to make saves. Like that's all it is. These are hope plays. These are hope moves in the net. He's lost. He's gone. He's done. I don't know what else to say about it.
Barney said it in the intermission really well, that it's like, this is the goalie equivalent of gripping your stick too tight. Like it's you're so desperate to make some saves that you're just over the top. And like, I got to tell you, this is pro sports and he's making a lot of money. The shot of him down the tunnel, sitting with his head hung in the dark, it was like, oh my God. Like it is, it's on, like, look how far if you're watching here, look, gives the whole net. He's not even fighting to find the puck. Like it's just,
but he doesn't even know where his net is.
I know. I really am at a loss for words here in terms. I know I'm supposed to talk words, but I really don't know where you go from here. I don't think you can put him back in. I don't think you can put him back in, period.
This is the debate. So I've been thinking about it during the entire game because let's be honest here. We didn't have to focus on much because the Leafs didn't really do much. This game was over. The third period was just all collecting thoughts. I was asking people like, okay, what are the scenarios here? I was starting to text people what goaltenders are out there. I started trying to do the research myself. The best name that I was handed was Myrtle sent me Jaro Halak is a free agent right now. And he's someone who had he's 38 years old. He's old. But go look at his stats last time he played. They were all right. He had a PTO with Carolina, and like it didn't work out. Carolina's a team that is, I think, got the worst goaltending in the NHL. They're desperate, and they didn't want him there. So that's the kind of bar that you're looking at here, right? Like this is the type of level of goaltending that you need. The good news for the Leafs is if you look at the schedule, you can get away with playing Marty Jones in the next 3. You can kick this decision for a week and see how he practices, see how he deals with some of the coaching, the counseling, whatever it is. But these are basically your options, Leaf fans. You go to the waiver wire and you try to pick up someone who none of the other teams have wanted on a minimum deal for a guy that you end up waiving the second Wool gets back. Or you bring up Dennis Hildeby, who is he's a baby. He's got 12 career starts in pro hockey, and he's playing really well with the Marlies. And my thing with that is I've usually been someone that says don't fear calling up young guys, because if one bad start or two bad starts breaks a guy, then you're probably never going to end up with much of a guy anyway. But I just feel like 12 pro starts for someone that's starting their Marlies career really well it's a pretty risky maneuver to ask him to come in and play in front of the Leafs. Like at that point, I'm with you. I don't think Samsonov should be playing. It's hard for me to envision another game for him, but given the options, here's what I would do. I would play the next couple games with Jones, and I would give Samsonov another chance against the Columbus Blue Jackets, where it's the front end of a back-to-back, see what happens in that game, and then go from there.
Well, I was
just
looking at the schedule here while you were talking. Yep. And like you said, this is a horrific stretch of hockey games here. I guess you can sell yourself in the Sens, but Jackets, Sens, Jackets. And then you're looking at that Saturday, the 30th start. I feel like we're talking about, like a baseball schedule here. It's like, who's going to start that Saturday game? It's like, well, they don't have any options. And it's like, it really feels that it's at that point where it's someone outside of the organization could start that game. Samsonov could start that game. Hildeby could start that game. It really feels like it could go in any direction. But let me just put it out there. Putting Hildeby in there is nuts. I can't do that. I know there's people that are calling for it. There's people that are, saying he's great with the Marlies or whatever. But to me, that is just way too much to ask way too soon. I guess it's one start. You can sell yourself on that. I don't know.
But really, it's not one start, right?
That's what I mean.
This is the thing. If you're calling up Hildeby,
solution.
Yeah, you've got another month where Joe Wool is going to be on the shelf at least. Okay, his injury is going to be until February. It's a high ankle sprain. We just went over this. It's basically a 6-week injury. What we do know about the injury, and I'm not going to play doctor. We had enough of that during the pandemic. But what we do know about that is that it wasn't a traumatic injury. It was one that was not caused by like a hard pressure. He didn't catch an edge. It was soft contact, high ankle sprain, one where he kind of bends it the wrong way. It's probably going to be around 6 weeks. So that takes you into February. If you're calling up Dennis Hildeby, you're not asking him for one spot start, one emergency start where your goaltender gets back. You're asking him to be an NHL goaltender and be on the road and be sitting and not playing games behind Marty Jones for over a month. And I'm with you. I'm not comfortable there. I think the options are you scour the waiver wire, you see if you can pick up a veteran, and you fire him in net and you let Samsonov sit. The thing is once you pull that cord, I don't think there's any going back to Samsonov. And I'm really not sure who you're getting on waiver wire is going to be keeping, less than $4.
Make a trade, I guess. Like you're going to need a guy here.
You can't.
Well, you're going to need a guy here regardless. Well, you literally can't because it's the freeze. So you can't make a trade here in the next little bit because the rosters are frozen. I don't know when that comes out. Is that the 27th that that lifts? I don't know when it is that it lifts.
Yeah, it's right after Christmas.
You're going to need a guy anyway. Even when Wool comes back. Like Martin Jones, you love him, but like he can't, if he's your guy, we saw Wool get hurt on a nothing play. Like you said, it was a flipper towards the net that he sprains his ankle on. You obviously can't depend on Samsonov. You can't. Oh, so it lifts on the 28th. Thank you. Mm-hmm. But you can't depend on Sam. Like you need another body in here. I don't think, because you can't depend on Samsonov at all. You have to act that he's gone. You have to act like he's not a guy that you can go to here for the next little bit. Don't you think? Like, where's it going to improve?
No, I think that you try to, like I said, to me, the scenario is you try to pick someone up off waivers, and you're hoping for some unsigned free agent that can come in here who's a vet and just play better than what Samsonov's giving you right now. Like I said, the last goal that he lets in, right, the one that shot at his glove is just.
And he looks at his glove. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's just he's broken, man. He's broken right now. Like there's just no other way to put it. He's got no game whatsoever. There was a little play it was the breakaway actually on the power play. His first big save of the game. Mm-hmm. The Leafs are on a 5-on-3. And I think who was it that steps out of the box for the Samuelson? He steps out, he gets a stride, he tries to make a play. Samsonov makes just like an okay, good save, probably gets tucked. Timmins comes back, breaks it up, and I think, okay, dude, there you go. Like, there's one. Yeah. Now you felt it on your pad. Go and find the rest of your game. And then the rest of it was just that same swimming, desperate style, followed by a lot of horrific body language. And yeah, I don't think it's good for him. I don't think it's good for the team. I will say that I think the team buried him tonight, and I think those guys should be embarrassed and that they should be apologizing. Like Mitch Marner, the third goal that the team gave up, like, you know, that's a struggling goalie, and you make that kind of just like JV like play in your own end. It's just like, you're supposed to be one of the leaders of the team, and you do that. Like, that's gross. Sorry, but
it's a terrible play by Samsonov too, going out there and Rimiter, like, you know. He's not set. He's not settled. There's guys right on top of Marner. It's a suicide pass to Marner. He's got no chance. Like, the guy's on him while he turns. Look.
Sure.
It's like, that's a terrible play. He throws it right to, like, that's on Samsonov too. He was awful.
I mean, and you can blame him for everything. It's a horrible play by Marner.
I truly, like, it was a despicable effort, but they quit. They saw the goals that were going in.
Yep.
It's hard to keep playing. Like, it's just, they're like, you know, it's 2 days away from Christmas. Every shot's going in the net. We don't care. Like, it's a pretty clear reason why they stopped playing here. And they put old poor Marty Jones in there, who, like, they need his confidence to be, and they just stopped playing. So, you know, you can't give them a break for it, but a lot of it had to do with just what they see going in the net. It's hard to keep going.
Yeah, I will say, though, that it's a pretty gutless effort from a team when Ilya Samsonov's a guy that last year for you stepped up and gave you a ton of big quality saves.
Sure, man, but they're not thinking about last year. They're thinking about 4 goals that go in. No, I'm just saying, though. It's like, they're not like, oh, every game he gives up 4. Let's think about how great he was last year. That's not what they're thinking about.
How many games have they played well in front of him?
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
1?
Sure.
2?
Okay, we'll go 1. Yeah. Whatever fits your narrative, buddy. I don't know. Like, he's let in 4. You gave him the stat off the top that he's let in, out of half his games, he's let in 4 goals.
He's been horrific. And all I'm saying is that sometimes you need to try and pick up your teammates. And I thought that the way that the Leafs played in this hockey game, which was, we're going to play pond hockey in the first period. Like, this wasn't something like, oh, the pucks went in the net and then they quit. This was, they were playing pond hockey from the outset. The first goal of the game that goes in after Jordan Greenway lays a massive hit. I know, but it's a complete misplay where the Leafs give up the zone. Look at this play. It's the same thing as the McCabe play from the night before, where it's like 2 guys go, make a misread, and then they just walk it right in. Like, it's awful. Like, this is a bad goal, Sammy. Like, I don't know why you can't get this. I don't know what you're not grasping here. You think that the Leafs played a tight hockey game tonight?
No, but like, you're blaming this on you're blaming on anyone other than Samsonov on this is insane.
Buddy, it's not.
It's a fall away wrister from the top of the circle.
It's not blaming. It's saying, can you as a team show some adversity in front of your guy who's struggling here? And I don't think the team did that well tonight. I thought this was a dog effort from the Leafs.
Sure,
it was a bad effort from the Leafs. And I don't think that, like, okay, because your goaltender lets in a bad goal, that should be putting you into, okay, it's fine, let's just go into quit mode. I think that's a bad tendency from the team.
It's a different situation, though, when with a goalie that you trust versus a goalie that you're obviously petrified of playing in front of. Where,
all right.
It's like, well, no, it's true. You know, every game you're worried about this guy. He's hanging his head. Every shot that goes towards the net, you're scared that it's going to go in. It's like, you know, I don't know. It's psychology with hockey players. It's like, if your goalie stinks, it's hard to play. They were bad, but when the first shot of the game that's from above the circle goes in the net, you know, it's pretty clear how you're going to, I don't know. They played like crap. Don't get me wrong here, but a lot of it stems from what happened in net. That's what I'll say.
Totally agree.
Okay. Perfect.
We have a clip. Play the clip.
Do? What's the clip?
Yeah, the dominoes of this thing to me are terrifying. I'm sorry. Like, I know that I'm being probably poly-panic over here, but this is just
panicking. You're just going on and on. You're proving me wroong. Is that what it is? Big right guy here? Is that what it is? I'm just not saying that they're like going to Michael Hutchinson.
This was great.
Guy here.
Sick clip, buddy.
Samsonov.
This was me saying I'm really worried about Ilya Samsonov in net.
Big reason they
I don't think he can play anymore.
It's in there for him to be.
And yeah, Joe, we can pull it down. Like, it doesn't have the audio, so it didn't really work. I thought we tested that, but Jobo says they can. There is audio. Whatever. It was a funny clip. I can't remember what the paraphrase is, but
you're bringing up Mr. Right clips here, buddy, with a Christmas season. Oh my god!
It's a funny clip of you saying that I'm something worrywart and that Samsonov's the man and that he's going to play great and that he's going to settle the season that you got a lot of confidence.
Pull up a clip to make me look dumb. That's what you wanted to do.
No, it's a funny clip, for God's sake.
It's hilarious.
It is.
We talk about the Leafs 2 hours a day for every day, and it's like you're going to pull up a clip about me being an idiot? Like,
yeah, it's a funny clip.
Yeah, to you, maybe.
Yeah, well, if we had the clip, it would have worked. The sound looks bad. But yes, he was not good. He's not good. I don't think he should play another game for the Leafs. I don't think that the effort in front of him was quality at all tonight. I don't think that the team has played well in front of him. Basically, like the Columbus start was pretty much the same thing where they come out and they kind of play poorly. He lets in bad goals. It's a chicken and egg thing. But no, I think that this is a shot goaltender who might be done in the market. Like, I'm not sure what
Kipper said his next start should be up for the Marlies.
Yeah. Again, I'm with him, but then again, I'm presented with the options and I go, I don't know what the other case is. Like, who are you bringing in here? I guess at this point, I think that he's a well below negative replacement. And if you can get even someone who can hold 3, more consistently give you 4, not have that body language that breaks you, I think that's kind of what you need to do right now. Anyway, I don't really have much else from this game because it's pretty much just Samsonov and like what you do with him.
Love that Matthews goal at the start of the game. Holy hell.
Lost to history.
That. Loved it. That was such a beautiful goal. Coming off the sideboards there and just like, this is goal scorer. Look at that. Bing turns his back in the net. And it's like people probably get on Levi for that, but that hit the back of the net before he knew where it was. That was a ridiculous play by Matthews, where the way the game started with Matthews was like, he's going to score 7 goals tonight. He was unbelievable and he just totally went away. So yeah, I'm not going to praise him too much, but I thought this goal was particularly pretty. Like, look at the weight. Bang.
Beautiful. He's on pace for 73 goals.
Yeah.
Like, it's not been talked about too much because I think he's had the slumps and then they've all come at us in waves. And so I think it's crept up on people. Like, they haven't really fully been aware of what this looks like and what this is. He's got as many career goals. I mentioned this on my show a couple of days ago, that he's got as many career goals as Ovechkin did through now. I think it's 510 career games.
Yeah, he's legitimately like on all-time pace.
That's what I mean. And if you think about all the games that Ovechkin ended up missing because of lockouts and, shortened seasons, and part of that has been Matthews as well. But like, I'm not going to say he's going to break the all-time goals record. I don't think that's going to happen. No, I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think that there's going to be a time where he's on an incredible pace where people are going to be looking at it and saying, all right, like they're going to have the same conversations. Remember when we had them about Ovechkin like 3 or 4 years ago? We were like, this could actually happen. But then it drops off. Like, Ovechkin's the greatest goal scorer I've ever seen. And he's got 1 goal this year, even strength, and we've gone over this, but like it just drops off. So I don't think Matthews will ever break the goal scoring record, but I do think that there will be a moment in his career, especially this year, if he can score 65 plus, which I think is very much on the table, where
for sure
we go, you know what? Like, this pace, this is like, will he pass Gordie Howe?
What's Gordie Howe's total?
I think 802.
I'm not, maybe you can save this clip for Leafs talk down the road, or you can play and make me look dumb again. Maybe we can find that one.
I think it's dumb. It's just a funny clip.
Because they've never done that, ever.
I know, but it was because it happened so fast. It was 2 weeks ago where you're like, he's going to steady the net. It's like, will he ever be a Leaf again? 2 weeks later.
I was going to bring up Max Domi, who had a great first day at the Masters tonight. I think he was -4. Did love him just starting a fight for no reason at the end because he's mad. It's like, there's been so many games where the Leafs have played like crap and they just look like they don't care. And I do love the one squirrely guy just being like, acting like a dick. I do like that. I appreciate it. It's probably his last shift of the game. Skinner probably said something to him and he just was like, I'm going to do something dumb. And I liked it. I like that. Still hockey.
I like this goal more. Again, I can't believe the Leafs had pretty goals in this game.
Beautiful. I was like, hey man, shoot it. He just went bar down from the top of the circle. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was a really nice goal. By the way, that secondary assist that Liljegren got there, that's only his 2nd point of the season. It's 13 games, but it's something.
He's not really, I don't think he's going to be the type of guy that you think too much about point production. He's just whatever he is. Like, you don't notice him a ton. He's just like a kind of, I don't know. if someone said to me, describe Timothy Liljegren's game, I'd have a really hard time. Like, what would you say is his defining feature?
Timothy Liljegren?
Yes.
He's a good skater.
Yeah. Okay. That's
outside of that, I don't really know what
he's a good skater. You're like, good reads, can snap a pass, I guess. But like, there's not a ton to his game.
Yeah. He's all right. But yeah, I think anyway, the point I was making is, to me, this is a really important stretch for him and McCabe, and seeing what they are as a pairing and if they can be a number 2 pairing. But I think the only way that works is if you're a number 2 pairing and you're not clearly locked down, then you got to provide points. And I'm not sure they're going to be able to do that either. And so when people say, hey, the Leafs need 2 defensemen, I go, I don't know. I feel like they just need one to knock everybody down. But yeah, maybe it is 2. Maybe it does end up being 2.
Oh, so all they need is 2 defensemen, a goalie, third line center, and anything else, or are they good with that?
No, I think I'm with the thinking of, I want to see Domi with a bigger third line winger.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then move him off as center for now. I don't know. Like, here's my thought on the Domi conversation, because it's been like dominant in the Leafs sphere. The people are red hot mad about the Domi stuff, right?
Dash
my Domi thing is, I don't know how you could ever watch him and think that like he could develop as a offense or a defensive player. Like, that's not ever.
Player. That was the whole thing. That was the knock. Everyone was like, "Oh, they're really going to lose a lot defensively with Domi and Bertuzzi." That was like the whole conversation all offseason.
And that's just it. So that's not going to happen. But I want to see all the teams in hockey right now in the flat cap that have a third line center that actually brings something to a team, right? Like, yeah, by the way, Auston Matthews, I think just collectively probably one of the worst games since I've been here. So,
I mean, you better say that.
Yeah.
Oh, they just didn't fall for us tonight. Like, a couple bad bounces. Like, what do you expect them to say? I would hope he says that.
Yeah.
They lost 9-3 to the Sabres, who stink.
Yeah, that's the thing too. The Sabres stink. You know what though? This is just Sabres get up for this
is their
game.
Super Bowl. They care so much.
I know.
And I would like to, my final shout out, I would like to give a shout out to William Nylander and Matthew Nyes for being even tonight. Both guys even. Yep, pretty good. Everybody else dashes. Those 2 guys even, so they can be like, "See, coach, wasn't my fault. I was even tonight."
I was just picturing Nylander frantically skating to the bench as the Sabres are breaking out on 2-on-1s as he's in a contract here. My final shout out is to Alex Wong, who wrote this book, Prehistoric. If you can see it right here.
What a fantastic fella Alex Wong is.
Yeah. I read this book over the week. I had him on my pod today. We talked about it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of basketball books. I'm a big fan of sports books in general, like sports history books.
I should read more.
Yeah. I mix in the odd book, because there'll be a lot of sports books and a lot of history books. Like, I'm kind of a, two-tune Tony. It's like, you can find me in this, you can find me in the same sections at chapters every time, like history or sports, maybe, and combine the two, you got yourself a winner. This book is excellent, and if you're a Raptors fan and you're somebody that's knows a Raptors fan and you're doing late minute holiday shopping, I highly recommend it. Because I enjoyed the hell out of this book. And even when he first told me about the premise and he was like, it's about the start of the Raptors expansion team, I was like, the Sky Dome team with no wins?
Beat MJ, bud.
And that chapter is honestly like a riveting chapter to read. No joke.
I got to pick up a copy for myself and I'll read it.
It's really, really good. It's really, really good. Anyways, go buy that book. Subscribe to this podcast.
What was I going to say? I had one more thing for. It doesn't matter. All good. Better rip.
All right. Yeah. Leave 5 stars. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, whatever those things are, and then we will see you on Saturday against
Columbus. Are we both going to be on separate locations for that, baby?
No, I'm going to be here still.
Oh, you're still there? You're leaving on the 24th?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm leaving on Christmas Eve.
Okay, I'm going to be in a location unknown. So
yeah, good luck with that. All of a sudden, your internet's not going to work for Columbus. Yeah.
No. It's hey, buddy, it's a good router. I know where I'm going. I know has a solid router, so we'll be good.
Yeah. All right. For JD Bunkus and Sam McKee, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Saturday night.
Move up to Heatwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master plan community with bike trails, parks and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. What makes a great gift? Well, I think we can all agree that a gift that's homemade is a great gift. A gift that's the same shape as a stocking, that's important. A gift they can eat, definitely. And if they like to share, a gift you can eat too. Well, that settles it. Our Great Canadian Meat salami and pepperoni sticks are the perfect gift and a perfect addition to your charcuterie board. Pick up Great Canadian Meat at our store in Whitby or online at greatcanadianmeat.com.
The fantasy football playoffs are here, and you need fantasy sports radio now more than ever. After a grinding season of injuries, waiver moves, and start-sit decisions, the finish line is in sight.
Don't think of it through the lens of your own team. Think, who are the teams I'm going to be playing? Can I prevent their rosters from getting better?
But making the wrong move could mean the difference between glory or defeat.
Every week, Mike Evans is either scoring or putting up some numbers.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Don't lose because you weren't listening. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time. Patrick Waugh, when you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had new Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate. Weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Where you could slow it all down. The Thermea Spa Village, a world of bathing havens and breathtaking views. Give the gift of Thermea and invite someone to experience a holiday that unfolds at their own speed. Visit Thermea.com to purchase a gift certificate for someone you love.
Experience simply better security with Brevo.
One solution for the whole community. Brevo has multifamily buildings covered, from common areas to unit access and in-unit automation.
All with the convenience of access control from your mobile device.
Discover the Brevo advantage for your multifamily building. Join millions of people worldwide who trust in the original cloud-based security solution. Visit lp.brevo.com/Canada. That's lp.brivo.com/Canada.
You're on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and this is CBS Sports Radio.
You're not talking about this, but I'm just going to bring it up anyway. It's why I'm really excited for what you and